Yo! Ha! Good morning, gamers and gardeners, although I suppose it's good evening now. Welcome, welcome! Alright, so... Oh, let me get my hands plugged in. I'm always like, now that I eccentric hello! Oh my gosh! Thank you! I was about to be like, I don't know what to do for introductions, but I guess the introduction is just to get docked! This is why I have to wear leggings! Hello? Well, oh my gosh, again? Wow. Alright, those are my hands. So that I can wave hello. Welcome everybody! Ah! I just realized that, there we go. Stream Avatars is up now. Stream Avatars. Pavlov, hello. I see you there, Pavlov. Wow. What else am I gonna do with these points? That's fair. I have severely limited the number of redeems I have because I don't want to use another program because my poor bitrate can't handle it. I'm already dropping 19% of my frames. I'm gonna have to restart stream. I listened for just a few many hours at work, and suddenly I have a bunch of points. Your Brit would handle if you upgraded your PC. Oh, busted. I'm busted. For those that don't know, Pavlov very generously bought me a hardware upgrade off of Throne like a year ago. And it's still sitting under my desk. Pavlov, if it's any consolation, I'm absolutely going to have to install it because that space under my desk is going to be occupied by quail chicks soon. So it has to happen. Yes, welcome everybody. Hello. Yesterday we were looking at scuttled Japanese submarines. Oh gosh! I don't understand the brain that can get new PC parts and not immediately crack them open to the detriment of all other activities. The answer is tremendous anxiety. Although, it going this long is a bit embarrassing. Spicy got turned into a mushroom man! Do you know the mushroom man? The mushroom man, the mushroom man. Do you know the mushroom man who lives in... not Lethal Company. Who lives in content warning, it's spicy! Okay. I'm 3 months away from subbing for a year. Time truly flies and you intentionally cause problems. Let me get my chat. Let me get my chats. I don't think I have followage set up. There we go. I have followers set. I just looked at the leaderboard above my Twitch, and it's like Board Ming there with his 10,000 bits. It's that time of year when there's a fan going in your mic all stream. Is it audible? Is it audible? Because I'm not turning it off, but I will apologize. I am sorry. It's not stopping, but I am sorry. I need to... Poor Slicey gave me, like, audio settings to do, like, a month ago. Look, guys, I'm bad at stuff. Anyways, I'm actually winding down from the night, so have a good shrimp. Just wanted to throw ducks at you real quick. Quack! Fair! Bluebird, have a good one. Enjoy your lurk. Scotty, hello! Who else is Orange? Hello. Pavlov, hello. Who else is in here? Spicy, hello. Oh, Surface Tenchi, hello. It is good. Extremely even. Yeah, it's probably pretty late for a lot of people. I apologize. I was having... Gail, welcome. I am now fish. Strange feeling. Don't worry, we will be deep under the ocean and it will feel more normal in a minute. Yeah, so we're going to, these are more, VODs, more videos on demand from previous live dives, so this won't be live. These will be with the, EV Nautilus? Shork. What am I? Hold on, what am I? Hold on, I gotta jump. There we go. Oh, I'm Nemo. I'm a clownfish. I wanna be leaf sheep. There we go. I would like to be photosynthetic, please. There we go. I'm a little sea slug. Alright. Rocket jumper, hiya! So, we are watching another dive in the Pacific, I did not have a chance to completely preview this one. I know this is going to be a shipwreck from the Battle of Midway. I don't know which ship. There is a non-zero chance that this was sunk in combat, meaning it will be a graveyard, meaning we do need to be aware and respectful of that. And also, if that makes people uncomfy, I 100% understand. If you want to sit this one out. There will not be like any TOS or like graphic things though. It's been way too long for that. Spencer says, "Hail, hello." These are not although I guess it doesn't matter at a certain depth. The temperature's all really all really the same at depth. Ocean is hungry for calcium. You're not wrong. Solar squirrels. So I know that this happens where I'm accidentally a combination of very cute and then like there's just a little bit of horror tossed in. But hey guys, you know how I've been feeding mama squirrels? Yeah, there's some mama squirrels that are around and I've been giving them walnuts. They started leaving me gifts. They've started leaving me animal bones. Yeah. Random animal stun. Them leaving me gifts is adorable. I guess they know that Sucrose is my favorite Genshin Impact character. They just wanted to bring me some animal bones. Anyway, let's watch the video. Alright. Also, was there a hype train? There was a hype train! Let's go! Thank you everybody for the hype train! Show me those! Show me your emotes! Show me your emotes. They're worshipping you as a harvest god! I hope not. I'm pretty sure they're just sharing their precious treats. I imagine if you're a squirrel, if you're a mama squirrel, calcium's really important. They're just sharing their really good treats, guys. Also, oh my gosh, I'm dropping all the frames. I'm gonna end stream on Twitch really quick and restart it because this looks rough. But I'll BRB. Okay, that may have cut me off just as I said that I would BRB, but I'm RB. I'm RBs. Fight your enemies in my parking lot. I'm gonna play the video now because I've already lost control of this stream. So here we go. Alright. So this, you can't see it, but this is the very tail end of one video. This will end and we will start another, but this is the approach, and it is important because there is some talk about what we're doing, what they're doing. This dive does not have Hercules. This only has Atalanta. So this will be interesting, if only for that reason. I'm also saying, a lot. My apologies. Okay, yeah, the stream is fixed. The stream is fixed. It's Switch, please. All right, let's go. So I might skip us. Oh no, it's coming right up.
Everyone, welcome to Nautilus Live. For all of our viewers watching online, it is a privilege to be with you and to bring you with us.
Can you guys hear her?
On a very special dive into the ocean, into a very special place of our ocean. So, welcome to Papahanaumokuakea Marine National Monument, the largest.
Okay, hold on. Don't judge my cringe YouTube recommendations. Is it just my headphones that are going out? It might just be my headphones. Orange, do not eat the deep sea critters.
Area in the United States and a sacred place for the Kanaka-Wiwi Native Hawaiian people. We have had a really exciting and challenging day today.
North.
And that represents our opportunity to visit a site here on the seabed.
So there you can already...
everyone, Daniel Wagner here. So it is an absolute honor and privilege. Just wanted to provide a little bit of context. So this site was visited 25 years ago. A survey by Dr. Ballard that surveyed this site and did a short ROV dive. And we got those coordinates. And our very talented mapping team mapped over it. And so that we confirmed that the site was there. It was a slow and descent to the bottom, and yeah, we're here. And so I'll turn it over to our science leads and archaeologists on board.
Yeah, hi everyone. This is Mike Brennan with Search. I'm a maritime archaeologist. We're here at the site of the aircraft carrier USS Yorktown.
So this is the Yorktown, okay.
On, it was bombed on June 4th, 1942 and sunk a couple of days later. As Daniel said, this site was found in 1998 by a mission by Bob Ballard in the U.S. Navy and Woods Hole Oceanographic. And so we've come back to take a look at it and see how the site has changed over the last 25 years. We've just arrived on site at about 5,200 meters depth, which is some of the deepest parts of the ocean. It took a lot of engineering and cooperation with the weather to get there.
Oh, that is deep.
Hello everyone, this is Hans van Tilburg. I'm a maritime archaeologist with NOAA's Office of National Marine Sanctuary.
5,200 meters?
And it's both an honor and a privilege to be part of this mission and to be in this very special
below the
place
Titanic, I think.
within Papahanaumokuakea Marine National Monument, and also to be on this very historic site where some 80 plus years ago a very terrible and violent battle was waged between enemies who are now friends and allies, and we can join together and look at these sites in peace and understand the lessons of that day and what's happened to the historic properties on the bottom of this deep ocean.
So what are we looking at here?
Bob, I'm pretty sure that we actually landed right on top of the stack.
Yep.
It looks like we're on the amidships on the starboard side, and those funnels there, that's the very top of the stack.
Technical difficulties.
So that's the high part right there.
That's the high part. We got right onto the high part.
Yeah, it might be appropriate at this moment, since we're visiting a site of what was a very tragic battle, to observe a minute of silence in recognition of those who lost their lives.
Yeah, depth.
Thousands of sailors and soldiers on this day long ago. And so I'd ask you to join me in a minute of silence in recognition and honor of that terrible event.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks, Hans.
Thank you all. As we begin this exploration, not only
Orange,
are we
please.
supported by
Also, Gwen,
talented
hello.
team here inside the control room, who you'll
Welcome,
be hearing from
welcome.
shortly, the 50 people on board Nautilus who have made this voyage into Papahanaumokuakea, but also the expertise of specialists, talented people from all different agencies, different institutions, different nations who care for this history and care for this place. We are joined by our extensive network of scientists ashore, including archaeology specialists joining us from the Exploration Command Center in Silver Springs, Maryland at NOAA headquarters. I'd like to invite those voices into the conversation and welcome all of our partners that have made this possible. Hello, ECC.
I'm gonna pause briefly because Orange does have a relevant question. I wonder if the main ROV can't handle the lower depths. It's very possible. It's very likely there's a logistical reason that Herc wasn't dropped. I know 2D, Deep Discovery with NOAA can go down to 6,000 meters. But that's right near its lower depths, and it takes hours to drop D2 that far. We watched the descent at one point, and then something immediately went wrong, and they had to pull it back up. It was an experience. So to answer the question, unsure, but there's probably a logistical aspect as to why. They might talk about it.
Good evening, everyone, and good morning here in Silver Spring, Maryland. I'm Jeremy Wyrick. I'm Director of NOAA's Office of Ocean Exploration, with partners with Ocean Exploration Trust and all of our other partners within the Ocean Exploration Cooperative Institute that have been able to make this happen here today for Nautilus. So we're here, it's about 2:30 in the morning here in Silver Spring, Maryland. I'm very privileged to be joining you all, everybody listening in, but certainly all of our friends and colleagues there on Nautilus to be able to join in on what is really a very humbling sight for all of us. So here in Silver Spring, Maryland, I'm joined by Jim Delgado from Search. So I'm going to turn it over to Jim. And before that, I have guests here from the Naval Heritage Historical Center, and I'll turn it over to Alexa.
I just realized Memorial Day is Monday. This is unintentionally almost well timed.
Underwater archaeology branch. I think privileged is the right word. We feel very fortunate to be a part of the operation to be doing this evening and revisiting this site. It's very important for me. Jim.
Hello, everybody. This is Jim Delgado. I'm Senior Vice President of Search Incorporated. Work closely with Mike Rendon and many other people. I'm lead scientist ashore. But with that, what that job title means is working to coordinate with an incredibly talented team from different agencies and organizations. While some of us are here in Silver Spring, we have colleagues from the Defense KWMIA Accounting Command ashore. We have, joining us from across the country, we have colleagues from the Bureau of Ocean Energy Management, colleagues from the National Park Service, many people working together through the magic of telepresence, which is what is being used to bring you these images, not only from the bottom of the ocean, but through the atmosphere, through satellite connections, and through cyberspace, to connect different voices in collaborative science, including not only archaeology, but everything that we see down there that speaks to the ocean as a habitat, that speaks to the ocean as a unique environment, that speaks to this portion of the ocean as well, which has great cultural meaning and significance to many people. And with that, and thanks to telepresence, an opportunity not for us to not only work and communicate with each other, but to talk to all of you out there.
Yeah, this was live. It's not live now, but this was live.
It's something that is not only
Which is
funded
crazy.
by the government, for science and for better understanding, but also it's something that we all work on together because it's only through expeditions like this and sharing with all of you who watch that we're able to connect not only to the ocean but also to history and to learn some of those lessons. It's a real privilege to be here with the rest of the team. Thank you for joining us, and now stand by as we take this first look at Yorktown, seeing not only things that were seen by Dr. Ballard and his team 25 years ago, but things that have not been seen by human eyes since Yorktown slipped beneath the surface those decades ago.
So he mentioned association with NOAA. Nautilus is associated with NOAA, which is a government organization.
Thank you to the whole team in Silver Spring. We are joined also by a talented team here in the control room. We'll pass it over to our science communication fellow, Daniel Kinzer, to lead introductions and invite the team to share.
Mahalo nui, Megan. Mahalo to our colleagues at the ECC in Silver Spring and everyone here in the van, everyone on board. My name is Daniel Kinzer. I'm the Science Communication Fellow on board. I live in Honolulu, Hawaii, and so privileged to be a part of this team that extends so far beyond the vessel, but also is pretty amazing. We've got an incredible group here in the control van with us. I know we're all still catching our breath, taking in this really sacred moment. So thank you for joining us. Please send your questions, your thoughts, your comments on Nautilus Live, and join us. Join us for this expedition. And yeah, I'm gonna pass it to my left. Really fortunate to have Mahina here, also guiding us into the sacred waters of Papahanaumokuakea and helping us understand from a Hawaiian perspective what this means. Mahina.
Mahalo, Dan. Thank you so much. And mahalo to all of the viewers joining us and to all of our partners helping along this journey, this huaka'i. O mahina lani Cavalieri ko'oi noa. Aloha ahi ahi. Good evening, everyone. My name is Mahina Leni Cavalieri. I'm from the island of Oahu. It is my honor, my privilege to join each of you as we journey into the depths of the Kai'uli, the deepest and this dark area within a sacred realm of Kanaloa, our ocean deity. This is a very culturally significant place, spiritually significant place to Kanako'iwi, to Native Hawaiian people. We believe this is Po, a place, a realm of our ancestors, a Wau Akua, place of our gods, and a place where our kupuna come to rest. We believe that we come from these Kai'uli, these depths, and we believe that we return to them once more. So I am very honored and very grateful to share this space with you. Mahalo. Thank you.
Mahalo nui, Mahina. It's a gift to have you in the van with us and on board for this Ala Awana Kai'uli Path of the Deep Sea Traveler. Such a powerful name with so many layers of meaning, and I imagine it's hitting all of us in a different way. This is our third dive of the expedition. We've been looking at a couple of other seamounts in this region of Papahanaumokuakea Marine National Monument. And the feeling of this dive is showing us the meaning of that name in even a new way, another way. And yeah, I'd love for you to meet the rest of the team in the van. Val, can I pass it over to you, our amazing watch leader?
Thank you, Dan. This is Val Finlayson,
Hello,
one of the
Val.
co-science leads and the 8 to 12 watch lead. Although in this case, in this instance, we have the wonderful Mike and Hans running tonight's watch as we dive on the Yorktown. It's an absolute honor and privilege, as Mahina was saying, to participate in this. So thank all of you for joining. Thank you ECC for joining us from Silver Spring. And yeah, that's all I have for now.
Yeah, thanks,
Thank
Val. Yeah, Mike Brennan again, Search Inc. I'm the other co-lead scientist on this expedition and a maritime archaeologist with Search. Hans?
Thanks, Mike. I'm Hans van Tilburg. I'm here representing the Sanctuary's Office, maritime archaeologist for NOAA in the Pacific Islands region. And this is an important resource, not obviously not only for the history and the archaeology of it, but as a resource that needs to be protected. And it's within the monument and was an important part. The Battle of Midway was an important part of the original proclamation for the original monument. The ships themselves are within the expansion area of the monument, and the area in general is also being considered for sanctuary designation. So we take our responsibilities for protecting historic properties, significant properties like this, seriously. Kukui?
Mahalo Hans, mahalo mai kako o wau Kukui. My name is Kukui. I'm a data logger on board, one of the data loggers on board, and I'm so honored and privileged to be here with all of you folks today in this very special place, this historic place, and this culturally significant place as well. So mahalo. Catalina?
Hi, this is Catalina Rubiano, serving as the navigator, coordinating between the pilot team, the archaeology science team, and the bridge. And it's an honor to be here to make our initial descent onto the site.
So this is Renato Kane, leading the navigation and mapping team, and echoing everyone else's sentiment. It is an honor to be here.
And I'm Robert Waters. I'm the pilot. This is really spectacular to be able to be here and see this.
Zach Gonzalez, Robert's co-pilot, and
TK, hello! TK! We're diving the Yorktown! Not live. This is a VOD.
Amber Flynn, video engineer, and I'm just really grateful for the privilege to be here supporting this team.
We're doing introductions right now.
All of us so grateful, so humbled.
The Yorktown. In,
just want to bring the ancestors
Midway.
into the room, into the space, especially those who demonstrated so much bravery and courage in wars that we hope never have to be fought again, but we want to honor the fact that such tremendous values on display on both sides of the battle that took place here over 80 years ago, and yeah, look forward to learning as much as we can. Incredible team on board, and so lucky to have them as a resource to walk us through what we're seeing. Mike and Hans, do you have some initial impressions as we've come down on this aircraft carrier on the Yorktown?
So Hans, we now know is
we're right
an
on the
archaeologist.
top of the stack. Nav, what I'd like to do is when you and the pilots are ready, I'd like to bring us away from the stack and to a safer distance, and then descend a little bit further to get to the flight deck. I think if I could choose, I would move to the right to the bow and start there. Do keep in mind, please, that there were anti-aircraft guns and small fences poking out at the edge of the flight deck, so we want to come in very carefully as we approach it. But if we can come down, there's also a lot of potential hangs and towers against this, or that were on top of this flight stack, so I would want to move off-site backwards and then to the right, and then reacquire the wreck.
Yeah, there's a tripod tower, if it's still there, forward of the stack. So
yeah,
okay.
Yeah, so as mentioned yesterday, getting tangled
Pilots,
is a very real fear.
Make a 10 meter, 15 meter move
Yeah,
away?
I think it's 10 meters, yeah.
Okay.
Appropriate with
I think
Memorial
if we
Day coming
square
up.
up perpendicular to it, and then we can just
It was not
reciprocal,
deliberate.
or we can just back up from there.
But it works out.
And lower, we'll have this horizontal in our sonar.
Is someone on ROV Nav willing to explain when it's safe and when you can, kind of the delay that happens when we move the ship or when we come away, because we are so incredibly deep for this dive, and maybe talk a little bit about the
look
depth.
around here a bit.
Yeah, we're
So we
really
have
deep for this dive.
two-body ROV system
I thought I
that we're
heard
working-
wrong
or
at
sorry,
first.
We oftentimes have a two-body ROV system where we have a main ROV that's on the end of a long cable, and then a secondary. But right now we're working just with that one single tow sled So essentially, it's acting as a weight at the end of this as this cable. So we're bound by the movements of the ship at the surface to control our movements along the XY plane. We're using our winch to control our Z, our up and down. So right now we're just kind of aligning ourselves to the strike of the wreck. And we are getting into a safe, we happen to land very close to the tallest point of the wreck, what we believe. So we're going to essentially square up and back off a little bit. And then we can move safely along the strike. But to your point there, when we move the ship at the surface, we've got a paid out 5,100 meters of cable right now. So what happens is we move the ship away, and we're moving in small steps just so we can really fine-tune our position in location in relation to the wreck. So you move the ship, and it's actually going to take, you know, about a minute per 1,000 meters for the ROV at the bottom to respond to that move and back away slowly. So every time we move,
like
there will be a delay, and then ensuring that we've got a good, a nice image camera view of the wreck while also maintaining a safe distance.
Mahalo, Rennie. Thank you for that great explanation. This requires so much patience, so much collaboration across so many different teams. Always does deep sea exploration.
Yeah, a lot of moving parts.
Like the wreck's like 45, right?
Yeah, Mike, it looks like off the aft end of the stack, we were looking down at a platform at a lower level. And I don't know that I could make it out, but that's where one of the Mark 33 directors would have been. And then after that, there would have been the aircraft crane.
Right.
Yeah, we're gonna go, yeah. Like, if I square up like, yeah. Oh, horizontal. Yeah.
So a question for Mike or Hans, is the wreck sitting at an angle on the seafloor?
It's hard to tell right now. We've only seen just the stack. From the descriptions from Ballard's expedition, I believe it's at a slight angle. We're going to need to see
sitting
the
at a
flight
slight
deck
angle.
to understand that better.
Understood. Thanks.
So I don't want to talk over them, but I also don't want to ignore chat. TK, who is a history buff, says, fun fact, Midway was the only time in the war which all 3 Yorktown-class carriers fought together. Of the 7 full-size carriers in service at the outbreak of World War II for the U.S., only 3 were still in service by the end of Saratoga Ranger. By the end, Saratoga Ranger and Enterprise, with Ranger, due to its size and speed, was the only one not to serve in the Pacific. Okay. Also, apologies. I don't know how to read.
Just to comment on that, there it looks like the strike of the wreck is about 045.
Oh, okay, really.
We are looking at the stern, towards the stern on the left-hand side, right?
Yeah, the stern would be the left.
Okay.
There's that platform, but I can't tell if that director is still there.
Is our camera going straight down at an angle, straight out?
We are 45 degrees down.
Okay. So yeah, it looks like, since looks like we're looking straight down on it, it looks like the wreck probably is at a 45-degree angle. Interesting.
Oh, wow. That's
good to know.
That's a
but
decent
it looks like
tilt.
the port hull would be exposed, not the starboard hull, which is the one that the torpedoes hit. The torpedoes hit the port side on the first torpedo attack.
Oh, you're saying that the angle of it, it's tilted on its side?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. The camera's pointed at a 45.
Yeah, since we're looking straight down, that means that's pointed at 45 at us.
Yeah.
Could be, yeah.
That's consistent with the way that the drawings in the Ballard book show it.
Yeah.
I wonder if that's the stub, the position for the mast that was there at the aft end of the upper stack. That hole right there.
Yeah, I think
attached.
so. There should have been a davit on to the left of that too, which you want to watch out for. Probably not there, but we want to be careful anyway.
Yep. To the left of that platform?
Yeah.
Like further off the left hand of the screen?
Correct.
Yeah.
Yep.
Hiya, hello. Late night deep dive. Yes, yes, welcome. This is not live. We are watching a VOD.
For those tuning in online, this is third dive of the Ala Amoana Kaiuli expedition and our first attempt at diving the wreck with Atalanta ROV. Tremendous depth, 5,100 meters.
5,100 meters.
This is the USS Yorktown. And our team on board can share a little bit more about that history. We'll be telling more of the mo'olelo, or stories of that battle at Midway at Koiheleni that led to the ship sinking. You'll learn about that as you tune in. But this is the USS Yorktown. There are some resources on Nautilus Live for you to learn more about this wreck as well.
It was live when it was recorded. I mean, fair.
Yeah,
Fair,
that's great. Yeah, that's annoying there.
Oh. They may have encountered a difficulty.
Mahalo, Dan. And just to commemorate the bravery, I would like to share an olelo no eau, a Hawaiian proverb. Mai ka hikina a kala I kumukahi, a ka velona a kala I lehua. From the sunrise at Kumukahi to the fading sunlight at Lehua, from sunrise to sunset, Kumukahi and Puna on the island of Hawaii was called the land of the sunrise, and Lehua the land of the sunset. And this olelo no eau in this proverb often speaks to one's lifespan, from birth to transitioning. Here we are in Papahanaumokuakea Marine National Monument, in this sacred realm of Po, a place where our ancestors come, a place of our ocean deity Kanaloa.
So I'm gonna pause again, partly to catch up on chat, because I don't want to neglect chat. Since this isn't live, I can get away with pausing. TK says the Lexington was sunk at Coral Sea. Lexington was sunk at Coral Sea, Yorktown at Midway. And WASP during the Guadalcanal campaign. By the end of 1942, the U.S. had no carriers in the Pacific due to the damage to Saratoga and Enterprise. During the period between the loss of WASP and the commissioning of the Essex, the Royal Navy transferred one of their carriers. Oh, so for a while the Navy was using a Royal Navy ship? The U.S. Navy was using a Royal Navy ship. Did the U.S. build any new carriers over the course of the war? Asks Bearer of Peas. TK answers 40 carriers of types. I am gonna bounce around a little bit. I would love to watch all of this consecutively, but unfortunately, I have a shorter stream time today. I will put the links to the playlist and these videos in the description after my stream is done, so that people can watch them in their entirety. But I do want to be able to show people the cool stuff. And because this is just a very delicate process with moving the ship and moving Atalanta and getting everything right, that takes time. So yeah, I'm jumping ahead like 40 minutes to see like if there's anything slightly different. Oh, TK says, sorry, 160 of all types. And YouTube is unhappy with me. YouTube's like, stop stealing my bandwidth, and I'm like, no, I'm gonna. Come on, you can do it.
from birth to transitioning. Here we are in Papahanaumokuakea Marine National Monument in this sacred realm of Po, a place where our
Okay, so that's what
ancestors
she
come,
said
a
right before we
place
paused.
of
So
our
I'm gonna pull us
oceans
ahead a
here.
little.
Looks like coral. It's coral,
Yeah,
but coral is growing. We think they're stubs, past this coral growing on the rangefinder.
That's pretty cool.
But you can see the screen forward of that.
Oh yeah, now you can see the windows on the bridge.
Yep.
You can? Where?
That's a great shot.
Wait, hold on.
Frank
Let me
just
make sure
said,
we're getting...
We've rewritten history.
They're probably seeing a higher quality image
Clear
than...
forward of that, right?
You're looking at the USS
Correct.
Yorktown.
Much more clear forward.
We're clear forward. Yep. Okay.
Think of those guys.
Last of the carriers built during World War II would retire from Spanish service in 2002.
North of Kwahilani or Midway. Very well-known battle. Many consider a key turning point in the war in the Pacific in World War II. The USS Yorktown and many other vessels actually made their way down to these depths. And we have the honor and privilege to have this incredible view, as you just heard, from Exploration Command Center. It's a historical moment.
Yeah.
It certainly is.
Gun mount here?
Looks like.
Oh,
Okay, you can see the lower anti-aircraft gun at the bottom of the screen.
Yeah.
In the gun tub.
Go ahead, Phil.
We're tracking some of these images of the bridge from Bob Ballard's Return to Midway book, which produced in high resolution some of the first images in mass media and print media. And it certainly looks to be more coral growth, certainly maybe a bit more concretion, and it's just incredible to see, the natural environment.
So they're comparing it from images from 20 years ago.
And enveloping a historic shipwreck like this, but still clear as day for sure from the images we see today.
No, that's great. Thanks, Phil.
I do think that's a really beautiful part of this story of these sites. We know their history from their wartime service. We know the story of June of 1942 when they sank, and now the shipwreck is living on, continuing its story, becoming the foundation for corals and coral colonies to grow, even down here, over 3 miles beneath the surface of the ocean.
Which is crazy.
That's right, Megan. Reclaimed by Kanaloa, the property of Kanaloa. Amazing sight to see how the story evolves, and new life can come to this wreck.
Yeah, most definitely, Megan. I agree, and that resonates. And I speak with a very humble and heavy heart. Seeing this
Can we zoom in
and
again?
just knowing the bravery and the service men and women here, we continue to navigate these waters carefully, and
there are the
I hope we
windows.
do honor their stories. And we are in a very spiritually, culturally significant place of Papahanaumokuakea Marine National Monument.
Iris up a little bit.
Iris is
And
full up.
to see
That's the auto there.
Noisy.
the coral flourishing here,
What's this shiny bit up here?
and to see all of these images, and to
what's
know
the
all the
shiny?
collaboration, the work that went into this to make this happen. So we can tell their mo'olelo, we can share their stories with the world.
I wonder if the
Mike in
shiny's
the
a
background,
cone
I'm not
jelly.
sure if you're seeing in the sonar there, but particularly as we've moved along here, we can get a sense of the angle there with that tower and the stack being kind of bright towards us, the occlusion behind it in shadow, and then the rest of it. So I have to agree with what you're saying about the angle at which it rests.
Yeah, we'll get a better idea when we can look at the bow head on.
Yeah.
And then we'll be able to square up to it and get an actual photograph and figure out the angle. But I think it's definitely canted quite a bit to the starboard.
Roger. Yeah.
TK says the last carrier in the U.S. service built during the war retired in 1992. After returning to the U.S. following the end of Operation Desert Storm, USS Midway was one of 3 ships in Desert Storm
With
that had
this
been ordered for
privilege of
construction while
coming into
FTR
these
was present.
spaces and having this opportunity to explore this deep depths of Kanaloa and the Kaiuli, this depth of the ocean. It is also, I would like to point out that it is our kuleana, it is our responsibility to do these stories, these mo'olelo justice, the lives here, and may they live on through the mo'olelo that we can share. So just, navigating these waters with all of you, it's definitely an honor and a privilege, and I'm very grateful to be here to share this with you all. Mahalo.
Mahalo, Mahina. Incredible.
Mahalo.
Okay, so, Caven.
From shoreside, what we're seeing.
Caven. I don't know if they have 3D prints of this one. I don't think they do. But the submarines that we were watching the dive of yesterday, they 100% have 3D scans of that. That's part of why Jonathan was like, all right, time to butter the pancake and go back and forth a lot. They are available on Sketchfab, and my understanding is, here we go. My understanding is Sketchfab has an AR option where you can, like spawn the scan into your space and explore it. Give me a moment. I might be asking a little bit too much of my rig by trying to open a browser while doing this. So I will drop the Sketchfab link. I feel like I need to make just a short little video just to promote their Sketchfab because it's the coolest thing. It's so cool. I do not have access to VR yet. But I would love to explore some of these. Come on, please. Please. Open. I wonder if I can just copy the link. I think I can just copy the link. No, that gives me a gigantic... Yeah, unfortunately there is a fan running. I apologize. Please let me know if it's super destructive. But I would ask your indulgence. It is quite warm. Yeah, that's the cooling fans running. The cooling fans have spun up. There's also a non-zero chance you might be hearing the incubator. There you go. And I'll drop that in over on Kick as well as YouTube, and we'll resume watching. Yeah, I very much recommend going to check that out. It's super cool. Okay, here we go.
Now is you can see the gun tubs, and those are anti-aircraft weapons, and those are 1.1s. That's an early war weapon. You can just barely see.
I'm pretty sure that
and would be replaced. But again, we're at an early stage in the war, and you can see those barrels still pointing skyward as they were as Yorktown came under attack during the battle. But again, we're looking down into a gun tub with a 1.1 anti-aircraft weapon.
TK says the U.S. built,
pods, I think, right, Jim?
150 carriers.
We've made some
40 were for the
Can
British.
we do a full zoom out and kind of get some context of what's ahead, just as we continue along? Make sure there's no snags or anything.
Oh gosh.
There was something. What is that?
We're also starting to.
Do you see that crescent shaped? Is that just lens
kind
flare?
of far away from it now.
Roger. Yeah. So we can see that because we were so close to that tower and it is at a 45. The rest of the wreck will be a bit further away from us. So as we get in front of that tower, we can consider coming a bit closer.
Yeah,
to it.
I haven't seen anything.
You're doing the trigonometry, doing the ship move trigonometry.
Do you guys see this thing? Is this just a lens flare here?
I can't really tell. I do see it, but I can't.
Yeah.
Because there's a circle here too.
Right.
I'm gonna bounce us ahead a
yeah,
little
now that
bit,
we're-
like I said.
I think I see it moving with the other features that we're seeing
I
from the
think we
wreck.
need to get
so
a little
maybe
closer. We can't. We're too
Yeah,
far
this
away
is
to
a methodical
really
process.
be imaging things.
But I
Roger,
only have
yeah.
a limited amount of stream time, and I want you guys to see
What's our...
as much cool stuff as we can.
This is a wreck site from a very well-known battle in World War II, the Battle of Midway, north of Midway Island, Midway Atoll, Koihilani.
I think we're starting to pick up the edge of the flight deck, forward of the bridge. I would guess aft of the forward elevator, maybe aft of what I think are the 5-inch guns.
So
Frank and Phil, you'd know better than I, but now it's coming into view.
14 meters off the bottom here. I'll hold there.
There should be some smaller gun positions here, maybe some 50 caliber.
Yes, anyone who'd like to share, please tell us more about where we're at and what we're seeing.
Yeah, it's difficult to tell
And just
scale.
interjecting really quick for our shore team that sonar is on SAT 3.
Thank you very
They
much.
said they were getting closer, but this seems like a really pulled back view.
We're getting some vignetting. What is? I'm not sure
Avatar,
what that
hello.
shadow is.
Or avatar rather. Oh gosh, my hand.
Well, we're
no.
kind of out of the light pool.
No.
Pointed up.
Gotcha.
We're only down 14 degrees, so the lights are shining down. We need to get closer to the wreck to keep it in the light pool.
I may have broken something.
I think
I may have.
You know, if we're
Mistakes
pretty
may
happy
have
with
been
not
made.
having things to get hung up in.
What
here,
are
we
you?
can move in.
Right.
I think we're good with not having things we're going to run into, and we can move in closer.
Hold on, let me unplug my hands. My hands are bugged, guys.
We've stepped twice now, but we're still. I'm pointed, 14 degrees
There we go.
down, so it's still pretty far away. So that's 25 meters per. Yeah.
Okay, so we are pulled out. We are
Yeah.
pulled. We're pulled
You are
out pretty
just
far
tuning
right
in.
now.
We can drop the range down.
We've just reacquired the USS Yorktown. We
Well, I mean, I can see it.
you can hear Robert Waters and our nav team. They're carefully maneuvering around the vessel.
Yep. Yep.
And,
Forward starboard side of the flight deck.
I think I'm much more comfortable knowing where things are than yeah.
How close to the bow are we, Hans? Are we getting pretty close, or is it still a couple 100 feet away?
We're not that close to the bow. I would guess we're still aft of the forward elevator.
Okay, I think I'm gonna skip us ahead again a little
Hans, could
bit.
you give us
We can always
big
back up
picture
if needed.
overview of this aircraft carrier? Kind of how large is the ship? As you talk about the elevators, how many did it have? Kind of maybe bow to stern. What are the major features that people
Actually,
would
no.
notice?
They're gonna talk about cool
Well, I'm
stuff,
only
so we can
14
wait.
meters out the bottom, so I mean, this is going into the dirt here, so I think we need to go.
Okay, let's
more.
continue towards the bow.
Yeah.
Do you want to? How much do you want to jump?
Yeah, we can.
20 meters.
We're 60 meters to the bow, I think.
Okay. We make a
So
30
if we
meter
can-
jump.
Yeah, with 30 meters.
Yeah.
And then maybe not just 4 or 5. Go
4 or
more
5?
like. No, I would go more like 2.5.
2.5. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, that would be great. And if you want to go over the flight deck more, if you feel safe, that would give us more view. But it's your call about the safety.
I think we're trying to figure out if there's anything.
Atalanta.
Any, hazards sticking up off the deck, and I think once we know that, then we can get in closer.
Yeah.
So as mentioned yesterday, this is Atalanta is a ROV tethered to
Well, in
a
answer
ship.
to your question, you know, they didn't call them flat tops for nothing. So
yeah,
getting tangled up is a very real risk. So they've got to be careful.
Well, there can be lines and things that float up off of the deck.
In terms of major features,
right?
Yeah, we'd be looking at.
We don't want lines though.
The flat flight deck, the aft elevator, midships elevator, and forward elevator. And then along the sides are where the defensive anti-aircraft guns are, the 5-inch guns, the 1.1-inch quads, 50 caliber machine guns. But the deck, of course, is flat.
How many aircraft would this service, Hans, when at that stage and early stage in World War II? How many planes would be on the deck or taking off and landing here?
Yeah, I think it would be dozens, but I wouldn't have the exact number. Phil, Frank, shoreside at the command center, do you have remember the number of aircraft that Yorktown sailed with?
Well, yeah, we were discussing this earlier. You know, as built, Yorktown was designed to carry just about 90 aircraft, but
can we zoom in?
At the time of the battle, it was
Are we looking at a davit or something here? What's this sticking out?
It's hard to.
I'll try pushing a little more.
Yeah, that could be a davit there, and maybe a 5-inch gun just forward of it. One of the larger anti-aircraft guns that the carrier had, which means we would be just aft of the forward elevator. But 90 aircraft, that's a considerable number.
And what's the length?
You're at a 5-inch gun.
Yeah.
That's an anti-aircraft weapon.
Yep.
Yeah, the person was. It has the capacity for 90 aircraft, but I don't think it had that many at the time.
Say again, command center. There's a little bit of feedback.
That's an anti-aircraft gun.
Yep, 5-inch. I think there were 8 of them.
It's a 5-inch.
On the Yorktown.
And they weren't. These are not the ones that were thrown overboard. Remember the salvage crews.
Is this one having a much worse camera? Or I think it's a combination.
Increased better chance for stability.
In the yesterday,
a few cables and
this robot, Atalanta was providing lights, and then Herc was taking video.
Side. Is that correct, Jim?
But also, I think the water quality is just real murky here.
And that's looking down into the hangar deck too.
We're also like 5,000 meters down.
That's it. That's the hangar deck below the flight deck. Yeah, and that's right there. That's the elevator opening. Yeah, Alexis and noted that. Yeah.
So, the ship is moving.
Incredible.
And that movement is translating down the umbilical, and that's why Atalanta has this really jerky movement that we didn't see with her.
Function would have been kept. Could our archaeology team explain how we often see photos of the planes all staged on the flight deck? How often were they kept in that configuration, or were the elevators used to stow planes below, or what was the function there?
U.S. carrier doctrine always, to maximize aircraft capability, used what they call a deck park. So the air group was usually kept up on the flight deck. The hangar deck was meant for servicing aircraft, repairs, and that's what the elevators were for, was to obviously transport the aircraft to and from the flight deck. Occasionally,
he
if
says
they were
obviously,
armed
but I didn't know.
and fueled on the flight deck, they could. On the hangar deck, the hangars were open, meaning that the sides could open up to allow them to actually turn the engines over to warm them up before sending them up to the flight deck for takeoff. So most of the time you see pictures of U.S. carriers at this time, you're going to see the air group pretty much parked on the flight deck aft, and they would of course take off and then would land to on the stern, and then would be ranged forward while they were recovering the air group, and then they would be rushed or set down the hangar from the forward flight deck elevator pits, and then rearmed and sent back up
for launch. It's
Oh, sorry.
interesting to
I
note that
wasn't trying to cut him
the
off.
British and the Japanese Navy carrier doctrines were very different. They used the hangar as the place where they would fuel and arm the aircraft, and the flight deck was mainly just used for takeoff and landing. And the design of them, the hangars were different and limited capability of carrying larger numbers.
Right. One of the many differences, I found it fascinating that the Japanese main carriers were built with multiple flight decks initially. It didn't turn out to be a good idea, and they consolidated to one main flight deck, but
they adopted the British system. They would launch aircraft right out of the hangar. You're right on that. But then as aircraft got heavier and larger, it became impractical to do that. And so the forward flight decks were converted to hangar space, and then the flight deck was, the main flight deck was extended all the way up to the bow.
Right.
But the British and the Japanese carriers maintained a double hangar design pretty much through World War II. So Kaga and Akagi, which would be Yorktown's contemporaries. They had, instead of one hangar deck, they had two, but they were larger ships.
So, there is also video of those ships, the Akagi, which we might watch later. Yeah, TK points out, just remember by the end of World War II, it had just been less than 80 years since Emperor Meiji started the modernization of Japan. Kaven says, which is why the Japanese were so insane. Like, technologically, it's wild. Brick Muppet, yesterday, Brick Muppet having a history degree and also, I believe, a background in the Navy, said that the Japanese Army and the Japanese Navy were, they didn't get along, like, at all. Like, it was a problem. And sort of, one of the reasons given for this was that they were created from two rival clans. They were created from two rival feudal clans, which is an insane thought. Kaven says they were, by any metric, a feudal society with modern weapons. Yeah. I mean, I feel like that's an oversimplification. But yeah. Pavlov says one of the lessons of China and Japan is you can do pretty great things on a great scale. You gotta be willing to do just a little bit of authoritarianism and evil. Just, small doses. But yeah, the Japanese subs that we were looking at yesterday were at the time cutting edge. Like, they were studied intensively before they were scuttled. Yeah, absolutely crazy. World War II, absolutely bonkers.
Much of the length of an aircraft carrier, Yorktown overall was 824 feet long.
Kagasoryu
How much
and
space does
Hiryu
it take in this era to land an aircraft
of the
on deck?
Kudai,
I find it,
Budai.
my mind is
The
just
other
blown
two
that
ships were
there's combination parking
not
decks
present.
for an
Most of the air
airgroup
group
and
during the
also
cruise,
the
yeah,
active runway and landing zone.
Well, the aircraft employ something called arrestor wires, which would trap the plane as it landed. So, the length of the flight really was kind of immaterial for takeoff and landing. It was more for takeoff than landing. And for takeoff, the carriers would turn into the wind and steam as fast as they could to get the airflow over the deck to help the planes lift off, which was crucial in the days before catapults were available to do that. And some of the Essexes did carry hydraulic catapults during World War II, and so they were able to launch heavier planes armed, fueled with heavier payloads. Yorktown did not have catapults, so she did have arrestor gear to trap planes as they landed. And because the flight decks were axial and not like the angled decks we'll see today, they also carried arrestor gear that could be rigged on the forward flight deck too, in case they had to steam in reverse to recover over the bow. And that was done during World War II a couple of times when damage was done to some of the ships.
I think we're starting to see the forward 5-inch guns.
So yeah,
the second of the 5-inch guns.
I believe that very prominent. This right here is
so
the gun they're talking about.
These were a lot more challenging for the crews from Haman and from Yorktown too to jettison. So seeing these 5-inch guns after a lot of the anti-aircraft machine guns were removed is right on target.
The 5-inch 38 is a big gun.
If they were listening to the... Oh, go ahead.
I was saying the 5-inch 38 mount or guns you're looking at now, the single mounts. Towards the months after this, after Midway, the dual mount 5-inch 38 came out, and that became kind of the standard anti-aircraft weapon on carriers for the rest of the war. These were open mounts.
Says, oh cool, a Bofors 40mm AA guns. They're still in use today.
We have one on display in the museum here in DC.
I mean, I guess if it's not broke,
And
don't
it was
fix
a
it.
remarkable weapon that served up into the last 5-inch 38 left the fleet in 1991. I'm sorry, 1995. And that was on the cruiser Long Beach. So you're looking at a weapon that had an incredible lifespan.
I think my dad worked on the radar system on the cruiser Long Beach, if memory serves. He worked for Hughes Aircraft.
The Bofors 40mm were the only weapon system used by every nation.
She was listening to port and trying to suppress the fires.
Yeah, it's much more clear now.
Side. The 20mm.
Yeah, it's a great observation, Hans. And the jettisoning that I was thinking about was
there's two. You can see a second one.
June, trying to correct some of the list by ditching weight, in addition to aircraft that was on the flight deck.
Right.
Well, Atalanta's having a really hard time with the turbulence.
More about that timeline. We've talked about, we've mentioned a few times here jettisoning. We've mentioned that the battle began on the 4th, but could you walk us through those intermediate days in Yorktown's story?
I might not be as familiar with others about the entire timeline, but I can tell you that the majority of the action was on June 4th, and but it wasn't until the 7th when she was attacked by a submarine the second time. So
Can we zoom in?
The torpedo hits on the port side were earlier.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, because we're already about halfway in right now.
And I'm not sure if they were on the 4th or not. Folks in the command center can correct me, but I know that the submarine attack on the 7th was a surprise, and that's the one that sent her to the bottom. Because for a long time, for days, they thought they had the chance of saving the Yorktown.
Yeah, so it was bombed on the 4th on the flight deck.
That is a huge
and they were able to patch it and put out the fire and stabilize the ship so quickly that another raid from Hiryu thought it was a different aircraft carrier, and they bombed it again. And then they also hit it with aerial torpedoes at the time. That was on the port side, and that's the damage that we think we'll be seeing when we flip around to the other side. And then it continued to list. They put out the fires, they corrected the list, they patched the holes.
Okay, I'm sorry, that's a huge anemone. That is a huge anemone on that gun.
I think it was late on the 6th that it was hit by I-168 with 2 torpedoes. It fired 4 torpedoes. 1 missed, 1 hit him, and then 2 hit Yorktown.
Yeah.
So it was really quite a ways after the main action of the battle that Yorktown was actually sunk.
Yeah.
It looks like the wood on the flight deck is decently preserved.
Yeah, Kevin,
yeah, that would be
really good view of the left.
I'm not super familiar, but
Yeah,
even I had heard that, like,
And even still,
if the war
with
hadn't
those
ended, it
final
was gonna
two
get
blows, it
real
still took
ugly.
a while for Yorktown to finally sink. It's incredible.
Yeah. Can we zoom in on that ladder?
Yep. Zoom in.
Zoom in.
Yeah, that's really the amazing thing for a vessel that was damaged at the Coral Sea that had 72 hours to repair at Pearl Harbor, that surprised everyone by making it to the battle at Midway in time.
Oh, we're getting a lot more detail now.
Being damaged in the battle and putting out those fires and remaining afloat for so long. And in fact, I think the order was to abandon ship, and the Yorktown still didn't sink. Though, so when the Hammond came aboard, coming alongside, they were bringing on a damage crew and still trying to save the ship and hoping to tow the ship back to Pearl Harbor.
One thing that this ladder can show viewers is the scale of what we're seeing. Like the anti-aircraft guns kind of look small when you're like standing back from them, but if you look at that ladder, you can kind of tell the scale of what a person would be like on these decks, and just kind of show you the sheer size of the wreck that we're looking at.
What's a full crew, Mike or Hans, on board of Yorktown? How many people would it be carrying?
That's a good question. Something like 1,200? No.
2,217.
Thanks, Megan.
Thank you, Megan.
Jeez.
I was off by about 1,000.
Yeah. I think aircraft carriers today have something like 5,000 crew. Is that right?
Really? Oh my gosh.
1 million.
All right, hey, you wanted to know the complement. The ship's complement was 83
1 million
officers,
Purple Hearts were
90
ordered. That's
chief petty officers,
crazy.
and 1,280 men for a total of 1,519. That's without the air group.
Okay.
The size of a mid-sized school. Yeah, that's just your high school, like on a ship.
2,919.
Wow. So there's the ship's crew, and then there's the airplane mechanics, the pilots, that whole crew. So totally different numbers. Yeah.
It's like a whole city on a vessel.
Yeah. I went to big high schools. Is that a big high
This
school?
is short. Can you come out of the zoom and back off a little bit? By that ladder, what we were seeing here, the entire team here noticed what looked to be damage, which has not been recorded.
The Atalanta's gonna make me motion
so if you
sick.
can give us a wider view.
Yep.
We want to look back in that area over by that ladder because there looks.
I think I just went to a small school. My class was 23. That's
wondering
smaller
if
than
that
most
was
people's
battle damage
classes.
or just
Like,
decay, or was it a result of landing on the sea?
Don't know. Oh, that.
like individual classes.
That's the shot we needed. Keep for there.
Could you zoom in a little on the left?
Can you, Alexis just asked if you could zoom in a little on the left, please.
Zoom in
See how
again.
that.
All right. Are you looking for more? How's that for the view?
It's a great shot. Thank you.
Okay, bomb hit.
Oh yeah.
Caused quote unquote fragment damage. That's okay. That's fragment damage.
Oh, that broken part.
Yeah, this is the Bureau ships, after action report, and it has heavy bomb exploded close on surface, caused fragment damage, but they've got to see now. I see where it's full forward is where we are.
The bomb exploded in the water, but really
in my area were around 5,000.
Correct.
Yeah, that makes sense.
It's close to where they have it on the drawing, but yeah. Yeah.
So they are also referencing records from a previous dive 20 years ago.
Yorktown shipwreck over 5,100 meters, 5,100 meters deep inside Papahanaumokuakea
Roughly 3 miles down.
Marine National Monument. And just on the starboard side, you're looking at the starboard side of the deck, looking in the hangar deck, and just seeing some of the damage from, sounds like a bomb that went off on the surface just nearby. We've been
Lewis, hello.
just humbled and amazed at the opportunity to witness this bit of history here on board the Nautilus with our team ashore in the Expedition Command Center out in Maryland. And we appreciate all of you for tuning in with us. You can send in your questions or your comments, your stories on Nautilus Live. I'm Daniel Kinzer. I'm a Science Communication Fellow in the control van, and just here with a remarkable team of archaeologists, marine archaeologists, and scientists, ROV pilots.
I might skip us ahead a little bit again.
Just so...
Oh, no, I won't, because we're going to go back to looking at the guns.
What we're witnessing and the amount of collaboration that
we got going on here
to make this happen.
Do you want me to come back out on the camera?
Yeah, let's come back out on the Zoom.
So I've been saying we're diving, or we're watching a dive of the
So we
Yorktown
are
wreck.
settled here now. Atlantis settled in. Do we want to?
But I guess Yorktown is a class size.
Or should we plan a next move?
I think we can continue moving to the right, towards the bow.
Okay. Is that bearing 025?
Well, I think that'll take us over it. Yeah.
Okay.
Probably. How about 040?
Those look like rusticles to you, Mike?
Oh, that's a
or
good
just
question.
kind of corrosion or biological material dripping off the edge of the gun tub?
It could be rusticles, like from the corroding steel underneath the flight deck, like up here.
Are you looking
at the
area
again?
Yeah, I think they're discussing like below the gun.
Yeah, I think they could be rusticles.
That part that's hanging down.
It's a good example of, differential corrosion on different metals of the 5-inch gun. And
yeah.
Some metals make a better suitable substrate for colonization, and some metals do better underwater. And
I'm not completely sure.
There's a ladder for scale next to this.
Yeah.
Oh gosh.
5-inch gun, yeah, that's
Let me grab
quite
this.
large.
Yeah, they've just been calling it the Yorktown.
Yeah, to your note on colonization there, Hans, been noticing that there are a number of anemones that seem to be colonizing some of these cables that we're seeing.
yeah.
Yeah, we saw that on a couple other wrecks. There's the Robert E. Lee was a passenger ship that was sunk by a U-boat in the Gulf of Mexico. It had anemones all over it. And then there was a Greek
USS
ship, the
Yorktown.
Dodecanesus off of Turkey, that sank in a storm in the 50s. That also had a bunch of those kind of colonizing the cables.
I can drop a
Nice
link.
in the water column, hard substrate to attach onto.
Yeah. Yeah, and it speaks to how these become, these wrecks become part of the environment once they're there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There we go. TK's gonna know better than I am. CV5, USS Yorktown. But we are looking at just the Atalanta. We don't have Hercules today, which is why the lighting's different. And
What's that differential band on the flight deck?
Atalanta's getting bullied pretty badly by the current right now. Oh, not by the current. Sorry.
I just wanna
by turbulence at the
headed
top,
up this
it's
way.
jerking the
Yeah,
umbilical.
you're okay.
Yeah.
You want me to come back out?
Yeah, come back out. So there are lines hanging down off of there.
Yeah.
No laser cannons, yeah.
Cables or whatever.
Yeah, TK
Can we
mentioned that the
glance towards
USS
the aft a bit?
Yep.
Yorktown. I don't want to talk over them. lead ship of the same class of aircraft carriers. Hornet was sunk afterwards. Only Enterprise survived the war and was awarded the most battle stars.
Jim earlier said that this is like having a chandelier down on a 18,000-foot cable. I said, well, at least the chandelier has thrusters.
Yeah.
Fair.
On the plans, anyway, just forward of the elevator and the deck, there's this banding.
Yeah.
Something different on the flight deck, and I think we see it
Well,
there.
it might be a marked stripe to...
yeah, to judge distance or to
and here too.
Yeah. That'd be a guess, though.
It also looks like they're directly over each of the anti-aircraft guns. I wonder if it's so the pilots can be like, oh, there's a gun there or something.
Those bands might also be expansion joints. Just remember, on U.S. carriers at this time, the flight deck is actually a superstructure, so it's needed to have something to bend and on it. So it could be expansion joints as well.
That makes sense.
That makes sense.
Flight deck expansion joint.
So I am gonna bounce us ahead a bit.
Fascinating vessel. We've been here, acquired the Yorktown, USS Yorktown, roughly 2 hours ago, and have been moving very slowly, making sure to avoid any potential obstacles hanging off the deck. Sounds like, is it right that the vessel is kind of listing to the starboard at about 45 degrees roughly?
Yeah, it's listing towards us. We're gonna get a better idea of that once we come around to the bow and we can square off on the bow and see, kind of measure that angle there. It's probably not quite as severe as 45 degrees, but it feels like that.
45 seems extreme.
Viewers are looking now towards the bow. It's kind of the angle that you see. You see some heavy artillery, 5-inch anti-aircraft gun.
Only Big E's nameplate remains, displayed next to the USS New Jersey Museum.
And yeah, we're moving slowly with the ship, just being very careful.
Yeah,
Comments about your own ties to this era, to this, sometimes this...
So I'm gonna pause us there. There's a... Oh my gosh, pardon me. There's a lot of video here. So this is 5,100 meters down, and they mentioned that for the ship, when the ship moves, it takes like about a minute for every 1,000 meters, for Atalanta to move as well. So if the ship moves, it's like 5 whole minutes before Atalanta is repositioned. So there's a lot of kind of technical, literally moving parts. And because I have a limited time to stream today and I want you guys to see the cool stuff, I will skip around a bit. I do want to see what this is. What is this? Okay, let's take it back a little further because that just came out of nowhere.
On the stern. Yes. What is clear though is that you can see, just as Bob and the team noted in the 90s, you can still see the wood flight.
Oh, sorry. Only Big E's nameplate remains. It is displayed next to the USS New Jersey Museum. Caven says, it's weird to see an aircraft carrier without the outer shell. It's a normal ship with another level built onto it. And TK says, following the war, Enterprise would be scrapped, but parts of the steel and a few of the portholes would be used in the construction of the CVN-65 Enterprise. When CVN-65 Enterprise was scrapped, some of its steel and portholes were taken from CV-6 Enterprise and used in the construction of CVN-80 Enterprise. Scheduled to enter... Oh, scheduled to... So there's like... It's sort of been carried on, like a physical legacy. Not quite a ship of Theseus, but a little bit. Turkin, underwater ship history, yes, welcome! Hello, hello!
Deck here. And you got a very clear view of a 20 millimeter anti-aircraft weapon right here. forward edge.
That's a good shot of the bow edge right there.
Yeah.
For those of you in Silver Spring, can you give us a sense of how this current exploration differs from what we got out of the '98 initial exploration? You know, what are we getting out of this this current dive with Atalanta?
Zoom in on that, Amber.
Yep. Zoom it in.
So I'll start. There's a couple things. One, back in those days, you were tied solely to the vessel and what you could see on the vessel with the ROV on the bottom. Telepresence has changed that, so that what we now have is an opportunity for all of us to participate ashore, but not only us, but others who are calling in from elsewhere. And I think very importantly, the public is seeing this too. So as this happens, as exploration happens, everybody out there that's tuned in and watching this, whether they're standing watch as part of the mission, or if they've tuned in to participate in the mission as an observer, is getting this live feed. And that's, I think,
not currently
important.
live. This is pre-recorded.
It takes the whole idea of what people keep talking about as citizen science, takes it to a whole different level.
Okay.
Makes it international as well. And it also means that in the past, while some of us
almost.
Yeah. That some of us are focusing on the archaeology, there are others who are focusing in on the other aspects, you know, of deep ocean science. We're looking at the biology. We're looking at a whole range of things. And so with that, that's where this has evolved, and this is where it's taken us. We truly are, I think, doing exploration to a better level than we'd ever done before. But what we also should note, coming back to what we've been talking about throughout this dive, is we have the data that they gathered back then that we can compare with. And that's not only visual data, it's measurable data. And with that, we come back to understanding how things change over time underwater.
They've been
we understand how
comparing
ships become these habitats.
photos from 20 years ago.
We also see details that weren't all back then, because every look is a new look in its own way. So this is exciting. And what I'm just wondering right now is, I know that we have visitors from elsewhere, you know, how folks that are observing this in Japan feel as they see this vessel. Has people who are writing in who have family members who served, including others like my wife's family, who served on this ship. How must that feel too?
We are getting a lot of comments from viewers online whose parents or grandparents served in World War II, and they're just noting what an incredible, humbling experience this is for them, and how honored they are to witness this. So it really is a great service to all of those families immediately impacted by the story of this vessel and the story of the broader conflict that it was a part of.
Hashi Viper, hello! So catching up on Twitch chat just really quick, I am gonna skip us ahead a little bit as well. So we are looking at the USS Yorktown right now. It is 5,000 meters down. On about this ship, R. Lewis says just before the Battle of Midway, Yorktown was undergoing repairs. They said it would take 3 weeks. Admiral Nimitz told them they had 3 days and they pulled it off. Just clutch it. Exactly, Ship of Theseus. Is it the same ship? It carries at least 1 nail from the previous one. The names of Yorktown and Hornet were also carried over 2 of the Essex class carriers. Hornet recovered the first astronauts after they returned from the moon. Hornet, for context, was a Yorktown class carrier, if I'm understanding correctly. No, 5,100. I think I misspoke. Yeah, this is a really cool dive. Unfortunately, we only have Atalanta, not Atalanta and Hercules, so the quality is a little rougher. We're also really deep, so moving things into position is a lot more difficult. And because I have a shorter stream today, I am stopping the video and periodically jumping ahead just so that hopefully we get to see the all the cool stuff. TK says the U.S. Navy has answered the Ship of Theseus question thanks to the USS Constitution and USS Constellation. If slowly repair and replace the parts of the ship over the course of its life, it's the same ship, USS Constitution. If you repair, if you repair and replace parts of the ship in one go, it's a new ship with the same name, USS Constellation Repair. In 1853. Thank you, TK, for the answer to the philosophical question. We did it, guys. We solved philosophy. So was the Lexington. I got to visit it in Corpus Christi a while back. Ah. So I'm gonna skip us ahead just a little bit. Maybe. I want to see what this thing kind of coming off the back. It's a little eerie. It's a little bit eerie.
When they passed, and that just always struck us as really evidence of the power and what it meant, and the tragedy and the violence this generation went through.
Absolutely. You know, and it's not just the USS Yorktown, right? There are several, of course, associated aircraft, but also U.S. and Japanese vessels of multiple types that were part of this particular tragedy at Midway at Koehilani, this historic battle.
Yep.
But also across the conflict, across the Pacific, around the world, right? World War II impacted nearly everyone on the planet in significant ways, and the generation that lived through that,
right.
Their stories are important to remember, and I'm glad that this can help us bring those mo'olelo, bring those stories back to life.
And not just on these vessels, but the islanders and the non-combatants who were caught up in the conflict and suffered. It was a global catastrophe of immense proportions, and we hope it never happens again. And it's, you know, what I have to say is not only applicable to the U.S. servicemen, but to all who went through that cataclysmic period in the 1940s.
Yeah, we really must remember to make sure. It's really our kuleana, our responsibility to ensure that this kind of conflict never does happen again, and not to just let those be words, but let those stories be a part of our lives and how we connect and relate with one another all the time.
So Atalantis made its way and settled here at the starboard edge of the bow.
Okay, yep.
I'm thinking, what does a 20-meter jump across the bow sound about right?
I think that's a good start. As we go, we do want to turn and face it and kind of square up to it and see what that angle is. But yeah, I think that should work.
Okay.
So it sounds like they're moving the ship again?
Is that going to be about...
So Frank has an observation about the guns.
Go ahead.
Yeah, there's a lot of Hachi Viper. There's a lot of life on this rock.
I think they are, and that could be just from the movement of the water as this thing fell through. But that's an incredible look, you know.
Going back to a question that was asked about, what we hope to accomplish with this dive. One thing that's different about sea battles compared to land battles is when you go to, we're able to go.
I just realized you probably mean the stream avatars.
See the aftermath of those battles.
Maybe we can zoom.
But sea battles, you don't get that. You don't have that opportunity, and you're getting a rare chance to see the relics of a sea battle. It's important, and as time goes by, been aboard Midway in 2019. Midway is transformed back to the time of pre-human inhabitants. It's becoming a nature preserve. So there's going to be very little left of the battle shoreside, and knowing what these threats are and everything is going to be very crucial in the future.
That's the anchor.
Yep, there it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you for that insight. It's amazing how far we've come.
Keenan says
this is considered one of
The Navy cannot
10
philosophy.
most
The Navy
consequential
cannot
naval
philosophy.
battles in human
Illegal philosophy.
when you think about it.
Court
Just
martial.
change the balance
Doki
of the
doki.
Pacific War. And with that, the future of the Pacific, at least, in the nearly century past that.
Every June, the U.S. Navy still celebrates a Midway night, and they pay honor to the memory of the battle and the sailors and airmen who gave their lives to fight it.
Incredible bravery on both sides, and again, this ranks up there with Trafalgar, Axiom.
It's our Trafalgar, it's our Tsushima, it's our Axiom, our Salamis.
Yeah. It is our Salamis.
Boy, you're really starting to get some good perspective on the angles.
Yeah, that's really cool.
I mean,
that's really good imagery.
Wild.
Yeah, that is. That's a pretty sharp angle. So the ship is resting at an
everyone
angle.
who's here experiencing this with us. It really is our joy to be able to share this with you, to inspire you, to build your connection to these places. And we have viewers I want to share from all over the world here with us, as well as our collaborators and contributors. This expedition has over 90 scientists ashore collaborating and sharing their expertise with us, and from viewers around the world right now, viewers watching from the United States and from Japan, but also from Belarus and the Czech Republic and Germany, France, Croatia, India, Italy, Romania and Russia, Sweden, Canada, Norway, the Philippines, west of us across the Pacific, Australia, and the United Kingdom. And to be able to have you all here and to
Yeah, this was streamed live. It is not currently live, but this was live.
Thank you for being here.
Which is crazy.
Real quick, just to make sure I got that right. We want to go 10 meters at bearing 030? Okay.
Thank you so much, Megan, for bringing that whole audience, that global audience. Gives a lot of hope knowing that we're all having this conversation and sacred moment together around the world.
So I am going to skip us ahead again as they move the ship. On the topic of the ship of Theseus, as long as there is overlap between original pieces and new pieces and later repair pieces, it remains the same ship regardless if none of it is original. They can have a ship in commission since 1797, where only 5% of the vessel is the original 1797 wood. We're getting philosophical in the ship fandom. So yeah, I guess let's put it. Oh yeah, let's put us right about here. And then I might have to. Oh my gosh, technical difficulties. My hands are being difficult. So where are we at? 3906? Cause it's probably gonna... Oh, there we go.
Could we go 10 meters at bearing 320?
We've just traveled across the bow.
So usually you'd be able to pick your own fish stream avatar.
At, just over 5,100 meters. If you're just tuning in with us, this is our third dive on the Ala Awana Kaiuli
But my
Path of the Deep Sea Traveler Expedition NA-154.
Little widget for it is
Nautilus,
broken right now, sorry.
Exploration Vessel Nautilus, Ocean Exploration Trust, and many, many amazing partners at NOAA Exploration, at the Ocean Exploration Cooperative Institute. So many partners at play in making this work. This was, as our co-expedition lead Daniel Wagner pointed out at the start of this watch.
Oh, thank you for the hearts on YouTube.
This was a very long effort in the making. Took a lot of planning and preparation, and so many institutions and people had to come together to make this happen. And we want to celebrate that while also remembering that this is a solemn and sacred moment. This is something something with lessons for all of us that I'm sure are going to take a long time for us to process. But we're right off the port side of the bow of the flight deck. You're looking at the USS Yorktown.
Right about there? Okay.
We have many naval servicemen of all ranks, of all types of service throughout the years. We know this is an important moment in your life and your history and your story as well. We heard earlier that
yeah, Kevin, I'm not sure what that is. If that's something that's built up, is it coral or is it something breaking down from corrosion?
So important to so many of our viewers around the world, and we thank you guys for being here.
And to take this moment to, thank and recognize the veterans in our own team as well. Folks that have gotten their training and experience that started them in this field of going to sea, the military. Several members of the team on board chose that as their education and training pathway.
Oh, thank you, Megan.
Also in our interdisciplinary look at this.
Oh, it's probably a gun.
Sure looks like a mounding sponge there.
Orlicon? Or Bullfor's AA gun.
Could be a lot of corrosion product. I couldn't tell you if that was
the Bullforce.
A position where they had jettisoned the 20mm anti-aircraft gun, or if it's a 50 cal position that's completely corroded, but
apparently the Bullforce 44mm was
too, Megan.
used by like everyone during World War II. I'm also probably mispronouncing that, I'm sorry.
Hard substrate, something firm to build a home upon.
Kevin says pretty sure underwater sheep.
Really
new discovery.
Of habitat.
New sheep just dropped.
We often see coral and sponge gardens, which grow slowly and need a stable base growing on ancient seamounts. From our last couple dives, we've had the privilege to see beautiful locations like this. But we also know that sites like this, the substrate that is hard and stable, like a metal deck, at least stable for some number of years. We know eventually, slowly but surely, this wreck will deteriorate and change. But as it lives its life here, becoming the place where small sponges, perhaps first, or corals, you can see we've had sea cucumbers. There's a small fish coming into the view. So
a little fish.
Life all the way at these depths, over 5,000 meters, 3 miles. 16,000 feet, however you like to measure.
Avatar says
your ocean depths.
Crazy thing about Yorktown. Here, I don't want to talk over them too much. Crazy thing about Yorktown is it got hit in 2 separate airstrikes and they still almost saved it. And then it got Yeah. They were talking about that previously. Like, I think before Midway, it had to pull off some crazy repairs. And then between battles, they pulled off some crazy repairs. It was just a lot. It was a lot. Midway was brutal. Completely random observation. Caven fleet nice. Caven is not fond of that lead.
Alright.
Let's see.
Ola Kanaloa.
Some of that rusting too is driven by chemosynthesis, chemosynthetic bacteria, correct?
Really?
I think so.
Alright, so I'll send in a to the bridge. I think we'll head about 30 meters up the port side. Does that sound good?
Yeah. Yep.
Alright, as they move, I will again skip us ahead.
Do you think it bearing 210, will that keep us close
At Midway,
enough
it got hit 2 separate times.
side?
Yeah, I mean, we probably went a little too far away, but yeah.
Oh.
Would that...
It was 2 months on a...
I know this is the thing we were just looking at, but they're going to get really close to it, and I want to see.
Sunk off of Guam. They never even
Welding
got a
bonanza
Mayday
that
out.
war. Who would win? Hole makers or hole patchers?
Oh my goodness.
Japan thought they had sunk 2
How about in
separate carriers, but
terms
no,
of
it was
depth,
just
Robert?
the
How many
Yorktown
times
twice.
have you been below 5,000 meters?
I personally have been to 6110
Oh my gosh.
in the Alvin submarine. Yeah.
Wait, was this guy?
Last year in the Puerto Rican Trench.
Wow.
What did
That's
it
Robert.
sound like?
That's Robert.
I personally have been.
I thought he was joking. I thought they were joking.
Oh my goodness. How about in terms of depth, Robert? How many times have you been below 5,000 meters?
I personally have been to 6110
Oh my gosh.
in the Alvin submarine. Yeah.
That's crazy. He's
That
been in
was
the
last
Alvin.
year in the Puerto Rican Trench.
Wow.
What did
That's
it
Robert.
sound like?
That's Robert Waters, everybody. Oh, what was that question? What did it sound like?
Yeah.
Oh, actually, it was making noise because we had a problem with the fiberglass.
Oh, that's
separating from
horrifying.
the
Oh
foam
gosh.
blocks. It was making some.
Oh, that's horrifying.
That's not good. I wouldn't like to hear that.
No.
It was expected, though.
Okay.
But yeah.
Hey, no
I guess
worries.
that
We're going
softens the
down
blow
to
a
thick
little bit.
6,000 meters.
Yeah.
Robert,
Ignore the
had an incredible
crackling.
career in
G-
deep
what?
ocean exploration. We're so thankful to have him driving Atalanta for us today, and but to know that this ranks up there in dives for you is pretty. I feel even more blessed and fortunate to be experiencing it. So thank you, Robert.
Really getting up close here.
Yeah, you wanna
Let it come up a bit.
Brief
Oh yeah.
pause, sorry. On the topic of bombing ships twice, Lewis says Enterprise got the nickname the Grey Ghost due to the Japanese thinking they'd sunk her more than once, only for her to return again and again. Deep thoughts, very, very deep.
So yeah, we might have to adjust.
Man,
that here.
ROV pilots are so cool.
Okay. Pulling in a little too close.
Yeah.
All right.
To Mike or Hans or some of our folks on shore, they're we have a viewer asking if they had target designation trackers. I don't know what that is, but they were asking if they had those back then in early World War II.
Oh, I don't know that. I'm gonna have to pass that to shore. Target designation trackers.
TDT.
Oh, there's a ladder.
Yeah,
Goes
this
down
is
from the
another.
flight deck to the catwalk.
Oh yeah.
What was that question?
We just have a viewer who was wondering about target designation trackers. I didn't know about them, so I.
The ladder
thought
is
I'd check
again
in, see
giving
if
like scale.
anyone
Like
on
this
shore
is a
maybe
huge
knew
wreck.
if we had those back then.
I'm not sure if that was around during this battle. Sorry.
Okay, we don't know.
So I'll come down a little bit.
Okay, thanks.
Mike, you want to describe a little bit about what we're seeing as we kind of turn the corner
Yeah,
and start
please,
moving down the
please.
port side? This is
Yeah, so we just passed the bow. We saw the edge of the flight deck, that very classic curved end of the deck there, and some of we actually could see the anchor below that. We're now looking at the catwalk, which ran along just underneath the flight deck. So the top left, you can see the edge of the flight deck, which is wood nailed down over steel, and then there's a ladder dropping down to the catwalk that ran the length of the flight deck, and below that, which you can kind of start to see underneath, is the hangar deck where the mechanics would work on and arm work on planes and bring up the armaments, torpedoes, and aerial bombs for the planes.
okay. And I know we discussed this a little bit earlier, but for new viewers, can you describe kind of what we're expecting to see along this port side as we move from bow to stern?
Yeah, so we started the dive down on the tower, the stack
lights out.
of the carrier, and then we went down to over to the bow. Come around, so the
Atlanta's
wreck
just getting
is canted.
bounced.
It's listing to starboard, So this port side is facing a little bit more upward. So we're going to get a chance here to see a little bit more. The bow is pretty heavily buried in sediment, pretty much up to the anchor. So we're going to be able to follow this a bit more. There's more to see on this side. There should be some damage about, it's forward of the tower, but it's a little bit after where we are now. That was caused by one of the aerial torpedoes that struck during the second attack on Yorktown. So we should be coming to that pretty soon once we get the ship moved in place. And we're going to make our way back to the stern. There's going to be a bomb damage and possibly a hole that was patched in the flight deck that we should see just after the stack.
See, that's exciting. I want to see that.
We can find the name Yorktown on the back. After that, we're probably going to come back and do a pass a little bit lower, either near the mud line or looking into the hangar deck and that sort of thing, and really get a chance to see some of the lower damage that some of the torpedoes had on this.
Did you want to be down
ship.
lower?
No, not for this pass.
Okay.
Yeah, not for this first
Not yet.
pass.
Thank you, Mike.
This is good.
Is this sort of fold in the catwalk? Is that something that's battle damage, or we're not sure?
It could be warping from when the torpedo hit. It could also be from impact with the seabed.
So brief pause now that we have our tour plan. On the topic of the targeting systems, Avatar says they definitely did not have those. They didn't have computers. Rare Peace, I do hope you're able to get on to visit a carrier. Visiting a small sub is very cool. Avatar further clarifies, a computer back then was a person who did math. Yeah, which is like, a computer used to be a job. You used to be a person who computed. TK says, fun fact, the US fleet carriers of World War II were about the same size as the amphibious assault ship of the US Navy, what replaced the escort carrier after World War II. On the topic of computers, Avatar says they actually had some primitive mechanical stuff that they used for range finding. Yeah, a lot of... my hands, why? It's really impressive looking at World War II technology and seeing how they did stuff then. Had machine computing, those were automated abacuses. Lewis says they had computers just analog. Yeah, like the Turing, Alan Turing's, the ones for the Enigma codes, that was World War II. World War II is crazy. Just in terms of like technological leaps forward, it's absolutely bananas. Rare Peace says they were working on, I'm gonna mispronounce this, ENIAC to calculate missile paths. Didn't get to there before the end of the war. Mechanical computers are fascinating, but also have nothing to do with electronic. Yeah, very different systems. Very, very different creatures. Dang robots, always taking our jobs. But unironically. Doki Doki on YouTube says, just look at aviation from World War I to World War II. It's crazy. Technology just go brrrr. Absolutely, absolutely wild. So I think I am going to jump us ahead a little bit again. It takes, because we're 5,000, oh my god, my hands, jeez. Because we're 5,000 meters down, it's like a 5-minute difference between the ship just starting to move and Atalanta, the ROV whose feed we're watching, also starting to move. So, they've detailed out some really cool stuff to look at, and I would really like for us to see that. I guess let's jump to about here.
It looks like there's only one on that gun tub.
Cameron, can we zoom in? Is that the ring there? Is that where it was mounted?
Sure. Didn't one of the Wright brothers live long enough to see his creation? Oh, is that true? Was one of the Wright brothers still alive during World War II? Fun fact, my high school teacher of computer class was first
Bit
trained
of a
on
mystery.
magnetic tape style computing machines.
Maybe they did manage to jettison
She had
it.
wildly
seems like a
interesting
lot of work
stories.
to get
Also
that
could
thing
not
off the
use a
ground. I can't
PC. Her
imagine.
life
Yeah.
depended on it. Oh no!
Incredible zoom, Amber. Wow.
That's the position for it.
Yep.
Avatar says I sit here
Feels
and
so
poke with a
intimate to
black slate
feel
with
like we're so
pictures on it
close
that
to
they
the-
wouldn't have put in Star
to the
Trek because
whole-
it looked
Yeah.
too
Especially when you see
futuristic.
things like the ladders that, you can picture people running up and down.
Hatches,
Oh yeah, like
companionways,
there's a door.
workspaces.
Wow.
There's a door back there.
Yeah,
Watertight door.
yeah. Yeah, so that really gives the scale
You
of
really
what
can
we're...
just imagine the lives of the sailors who were doing everything they could to save this ship and make it through these two historical battles in the Coral Sea and at Midway.
Spencer says Orville Wright did indeed see the atomic bomb. He died in 1948. That's heavy. Most recent use of an analog fire control system was the Gulf War in 1991. See, that's way more recent than I would have thought. On the topic of Kevin's computer teacher, her most dramatic story was how she worked to create a program made of
So we
freaking
called in
perforated
a
cards.
30-meter move
Yes.
up the port side, and we're about 20 meters across that.
She was carrying a box of them sorted and dropped it,
Looks
wasting
like
a
those
week
roller
of
doors are
work.
just
No.
past here. We can kind of see inside there.
Yeah.
Yeah, what you see up above, you can see the shields for the 20 mils that are gone.
Yep.
And earlier those were machine guns that were replaced with the 20 mils. And then below that should be where the roll-up door is, and that's where Russ thinks they did have aircraft in there, and we may be able to see some if they survive the ride down.
Yeah, I saw some photos in a book of damaged aircraft after the bomb attacks, and the first torpedo run.
And Mike, remember when we were on Independence, despite being hit and capsizing and going down, we found Russ spotted that section of aircraft where the portion of the wing had caught and didn't get jettisoned out onto the seabed.
Yeah. Yeah, there were two different aircraft.
Yeah, we had the one in the forward hangar, and then that other one that had come out. There was that piece of it snagged.
Wait, do the cards represent binary, like 0 and 1 literally being punched into a card?
Looks like there's a door slightly ajar below there.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, open door, like right. Ah. I'm sorry my hands are so glitchy today. I don't know why. Right there.
I can't think of anything else that would
holes
remove
were
a
bits.
5-inch gun except intentionally jettisoning it.
And it didn't look like there's any damage there.
No.
And it's just that one little piece of flashing that was bent. I mean, it's super clean.
Well, Frank noticed the cable coming up, so.
Yeah, I would say that one was probably jettisoned because that's a clean break. I mean, I've never really seen that.
Yeah.
Totally.
USS Missouri
Seems like we've
Avatar.
settled out here a bit, so
They were
we can
using
go ahead and fall in another
MK7 guns
move.
for inland bombardment.
So, directly below these gun shields is that hangar area. Can we do a small move and see if we can zoom into there?
Sure. Would maybe 5 meters up port? Is that what we're thinking?
That should be fine.
Okay.
The punch was
Yeah.
a 1, if no punch 0. Literally, like binary on
Bridge, no?
cards. Oh, it's a little eerie.
Could we
It's a
please
little eerie.
move 0.5 meters at 215? Thank you.
Aaron, can we zoom in again?
Okay, zooming in.
Oh, that door is completely ajar.
Yeah, it's completely open.
Yeah.
Wide open.
Yeah, we'll see what we can see. I'm not sure we have the lighting to get very far in there.
It's so crazy. Like, this is...
I can see a little bit.
To just be able to dive a piece of history like this, despite it being, like, 3 miles under the ocean. I don't have thalassophobia, but I
Can you
am
make out what's on
lightly
the
scared
door?
of large structures underwater.
No.
Being able to peek inside is a little scary. Spencer says, I just heard the funniest idea. Purgatory is being soft-locked in the afterlife. No!
Okay, now I'm gonna get seasick.
Oh no.
You can see inside.
Sorry.
You can see inside the door.
No, I can't make that out.
If you are just tuning in,
All right, can we zoom out again?
I'm
nervous.
we're nearing the end of the 8 to 12 watch.
Wow, what a view.
So, what's going on there? It looks like there's a hole in.
Let's hope it's open because someone got out of the way.
Yeah, it does.
That's some sort of battle damage, or is
Yeah,
that something else?
we're nearing the area where the aerial torpedoes struck.
Okay.
So there could be some damage, and we're probably moving towards an area of more damage.
So Caven just broke my brain. This is one of those weird history stories if you think about it. You were using super fast computing, and yet my computer teacher was working with perforated cards, all within 2 generations really. Yeah, when you put it that way, like it's not live now, but this was live streamed. This is a World War II wreck being live streamed to the internet. From the bottom of the ocean, from 3 miles down, 5,100 meters. That's just a lot happening.
Nearly 4 hours ago, we acquired USS Yorktown. Came upon this, took a minute of silence, and began this very slow exploration of this story.
Mimic, what mech game are we playing? What mech warrior game are we playing?
Privilege of a lifetime.
Yeah, all within 2 generations.
To be in here
Confection
for the last
time.
4 hours with this incredible team, both in the control van, on board the exploration vessel on shore, and with all of you tuning in from around the world. We'll be shifting, I think our watch will shift in just a few minutes, and we'll pass over some of the mics and some of the controls to some of our friends on board. Some of us will refuse to leave the control van and continue to help share this story with you all. We're thankful that you're tuning in.
Orange!
And,
I'm sorry, what was the question?
Mech
Warrior. What Mech Warrior game are we playing? Oh my gosh. No, you guys! You goblins! What?
We want to try and look in there?
If we can.
You stinky goobers!
It definitely has been a great privilege of a lifetime. And after 25
This is
years
why I
of
have to
sitting
wear
on the,
leggings
you know,
on all of my
the bottom of the
outfits!
ocean floor undisturbed.
Mech Warrior 5? Okay.
Yeah, and thanks to everybody who's joining us on this exploration. I mean, this battle has touched so many lives.
So, interesting, did you see that damage on the gun platforms, like upthrust mounting and the tearing?
Yeah.
And this is the magic shot for us. This is exactly what we want to try to, if at all possible, to take a peek into.
Oh, we're gonna try to look into that.
It looks pretty empty. This is the hangar deck. This is where there were some
zoom in a little, Amber.
Some aircraft stored, as well as where they would conduct maintenance.
The large
So this is the hangar
doors
deck?
that are up and open.
That looks like a piece of aluminum.
Look at the anemone. Those are like really big anemone too.
Yeah. Yeah, a little bit.
A little bit. They had that lobate circular shape often to them, so I don't know. I'm not a rustical expert.
Yeah. So Team Onshore, we're about
Zoom
to
back out.
Coming out.
Team Onshore, we're about to do a watch change, so stand by.
Okay, video watch.
Spencer says, now I have to ask my parents, both being actual boomers from a remote northern Alberta. There was a point in their lives where they didn't know what a computer was.
Underneath there. A little up close and personal.
That would be crazy if there was a plane in
Russ
there.
Matthews just sent this in. It's a direct quote from the Buckmaster's After Action Report
Yeah, I
on
don't think
Yorktown
they're gonna go
sinking.
in.
Considerable progress
wanna
has
look,
been
though.
made
They
in
wanna get
salvaging
down
and
there.
reducing the list by mid-afternoon. One 5-inch gun had been dropped overboard and another was practically ready for dropping. Several airplanes on the port side had been cast loose and dropped over the side.
That's where it's from. That's where we're at. Yeah.
Russ, thank you.
That's exactly where they would have pushed them.
Yeah, so they were trying to correct the list by pushing stuff off. And then anemone, mana. Anemone, mana. Bum bum ba bum bum. My dad is pre-boomer. So again, the Atalanta, the ROV that whose video we are watching is tethered to a ship on the surface. And there's some turbulence, I suppose, coming down the umbilical, which is why Atalanta is just bouncing like that. With fronds like these, who needs anemones? Ay. Back in 2015, a team was able to retrieve the bell of the HMS Hood, and it's been on display since. That's pretty cool. Fun fact, Mom is from 130 kilometers, even further north than I am. Spencer is just actually a winter cryptid. Spencer is just actually a northern wasteland winter cryptid. Scotty, the ship was lost to enemy action and then anemone action. Terrible. It's just a super high-tech puppet. I suppose so. When you put it like that. But yeah, it is connected via an umbilical. Actually, I think there's like differentiations between umbilicals and another connection thing, but umbilical is just easier for me. Dad is from another town 5 miles over from my hometown. I don't want to jump us ahead because I do want to see what's going on with this. So I will briefly talk to chat. Spencer, how are the rabbits? How are the free range rabbits? Spencer, Wendigos need not apply. I actually might jump us ahead because it looks like we're kind of struggling here a little. We're struggle bussing a little. Lewis says if you went to Point Nemo, the farthest part of the ocean from any landmass, yes, Lewis, we were a couple streams ago. They were in the middle of the ocean doing some not this crew, but the, Falcor 2. And someone in chat pointed out that they were closer to the ISS than any other, like, landmass, which is a wild thing to think about. It really puts into perspective how big the world is. Like, Earth is big. Okay, I am gonna skip us ahead a little bit. Why are hands so broken today? Yeah, it looks like we just kind of bob here for a while. Are we able to get a peek? We get kind of close there. Yeah, I'm gonna bounce us to the next video. Oh. Gotta get motion sick.
Wow.
Oh, there we go. Oh,
and
no,
that's
we
after
don't.
having been
That's too
damaged
far.
by.
That's too far. That's
I
too
know
far.
that they were jettisoning the 20 millimeter anti-aircraft guns, but you can see the catwalk to the left there and the railing, so that gives you some scale, and the ladder that
It's
drops
also
to that
used for
catwalk
satellite
from
site
the flight deck.
Pausing for just a minute. Our Lewis says it's also used for satellite disposal site due to distance from land. There's a patch in the Pacific Ocean that is filled with high-tech space debris. If that is not a plot twist or a key point in a science fiction story, I don't know what is. The ISS is only 250 miles up. It ain't that high. It's pretty high. That's pretty high. Although, okay, I do see your point. With, like, he wouldn't have to be that far away from any landmass, but still. The last surviving rabbit is the one that got loose last year. Ah. There can be only one, the most clever one. Okay, sorry.
And you just see the edge of the elevator in the flight deck in the upper left corner. So that provides some scale for the sailors who would have climbed down that ladder and manned the gun positions.
Rabbit-brained. Oddly good at survival.
Thank you.
You can see the catwalk has really dropped and has been damaged over time.
Yeah, the one all the way over.
I couldn't tell you if that was, occurred during the battle or during the descent, but it's clearly starting to drop away.
So I will move us ahead a little bit. Dad is looking for someone with rabbits to give away from restock. Oh no. I mean, it's high, but I can drive 250 miles in a day. I've gone 1,000 miles in a day. Avatar did the thing. Avatar drove 1,000 miles. Yeah, Kevin, thank you for coming in. Please have a good evening. It is always good to see you in chat. Thank you for the stories with the about your computer teacher. That also puts things into perspective.
Down the port side,
crazy.
We'll want to catch the edge if we can of the catwalk and look across the deck.
So in terms of scale, by the way, bear in mind you've got these weapons, these anti-aircraft guns. You have a few guys working them. It's an individual mount, so you've got one person actually, aiming and shooting, but you've got other people milling around. So you've got several feet for each one of these gun tubs. The other thing as we move, what you'll see off just on the left-hand side of your screen is a large open bay door for the hangar. And when we get a better look of the deck, the flight deck above, you can actually also see the outline of the edge of the elevator that brought aircraft up from that hangar.
250 miles, no big deal. Point Nemo, that'll take a bit longer.
And this is the forward
it was a road trip.
3 elevators that you're going to have.
Oh gosh, pardon me. Ha.
So we've drifted over. Looks like we've drifted over it a bit. I'm gonna turn my head 90 to the right and just to get a view of how far we are indeed over it. So I'm gonna bring the vehicle around to same heading that we're moving, which is 215. So
there you go, rotating Atalanta. Get rotated.
Kind of look along it. So yeah, since I've been sitting here, we've drifted in just a bit. So
yeah, just a bit. We want to be a little more outboard than that.
That's Atlanta on a heading of 215, looking straight down, as you can see from the camera
The
angle
gun
up
of
there.
the day required about 2 to 4 men to keep things running. Ah. So it would be a thing run in pairs or as part of a crew, a little gun crew.
What I'm seeing in my sonar here.
Alright, I think they are moving, so I am inclined to skip us ahead again.
215 would take us out a little, so I'm just gonna look out away from the site and
yeah, we want to go here.
Square up our sonar there so we can.
Battleships and stuff, but there were all these support ships and just the amount of materials, people and supplies that had to cross the Pacific and arrive at places, and it just
oh gosh, they're talking logistics, yeah.
And you know, we've looked at some oil tanker wrecks and some other merchant ships that were part of that, but it's just like it really was a fully world war. Like it was stuff going on everywhere.
Right.
Very complex.
Right.
And every time I read it, every time I think I
to aim and fire, another to load, maybe
even
another
one small
guide or
aspect
relay
about it, I
instructions.
start reading more. I'm just like, I don't really know anything about it. But then, you know, you get a general context, and that helps understand these sorts of sites, and then you get little details like the jettisoning of planes or cutting these holes to jettison aircraft gun, and
yeah,
you know, certain things start to make sense.
You can see it looks like these gun tubs have dropped. There's another crack in the catwalk, and
yeah,
I'd imagine over time it'll fall away completely. Really.
Yeah, there's not much supporting it.
No.
So it sounds like there were guns there, and the front part was cut away, and the guns pushed off. I'm assuming as part of the.
I'm gonna drop down just a
like
bit
they were
here
talking
and
earlier to try to stop the listing of the ship.
Light it up on the sonar.
Yeah, this is a good position outboard, don't you think, Mike?
Oh my gosh, pardon me.
Yeah.
Quite have a sense on how close I am here.
I'm gonna be a huge dork about the size of these anemones, just because.
We were saying earlier, it's particularly
at
moving
depth things take so long to
the
grow.
normal workaday spaces.
These anemones are so
the
big.
The work tables, the ladders,
the
companionways. Not only does it give us a sense of scale, but that's, you know, the sense of daily life for what it was to be on an aircraft carrier.
Along those lines, Hans or Mike, do you think you could explain, like, maybe how the ship would be organized, like the different levels? Because I heard you reference like the hangar and the deck, the bridge, for anyone who's maybe not as familiar with those maritime terms. I'm not sure if this is too big of a question, but could you give like an overview of how the ship is organized?
Yeah, I mean, it is difficult without a diagram to point to for people watching, but basically an aircraft carrier is primarily a flight deck, so that's the big flat top that you know, everyone, you're very familiar with how planes land and take off on that. That's called the flight deck, and we're talking about these gun tubs and and other anti-aircraft gun and stuff, and those are positioned around the edge of the flight deck. And then below that is the hangar deck, and that's where spare aircraft and munitions and tools for maintaining aircraft and fixing things were. And they would have these big doors that rolled up, and we're actually looking inside one right now.
Yeah.
And that was a deck that ran the entire length of the ship below the flight deck. And you can see the ladders and companionways that go around that.
Mike, excuse me. Mike, sorry to interrupt from shore. Can you guys zoom into that hangar, please?
Yeah, can we
That guy's so excited. Mood.
Yeah.
That guy's so hyped.
Inside, please. That's good. Stop there, please.
Port side.
Back it up a little bit, please.
Are they looking for something specific? Look at that collapsed walkway. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, if you give me a minute, I can come down.
Hans, if there would be, one of the things that Russ had noted is that they would have been suspended and hanging from above, but I'm not seeing any evidence of that. But again, with these doors off, this could have been where they were jettisoning aircraft.
Yeah. Give me a minute, I can drop down a little bit more here and we'll get a better shot inside.
When Dan's doing that, Mike or Hans, do you mind, can you say about on the diagram, I'm trying to track with their waypoints and where we are?
Yeah, so they're referencing a diagram as well as old
on the port side,
photos from 20 years ago.
Looking across the ship.
To kind of see where stuff is and how it's aged.
The hangar door.
So are we about kind of almost right across from, there's a couple gauges on that image.
What image are you referring to? Okay.
I wish Atalanta just had like an underwater flare. It could just shoot in there.
So on the
to
top
see what's
one,
in
you
there.
see the hangar door on the left?
Yeah.
Towards the bow. We're at the aft end of that.
Okay. Roger.
Yep, still forward of the bridge.
This is perfect. This is great. This is our first really good look into the hangar. It's very much appreciated.
Oh, this is maybe the first time this has been seen since it sank. They might not have seen this on the expedition 20 years ago. Oh, nervous. That looks really close. I know it just looks close because we're super zoomed in, but
Yeah, that's a pretty good look.
I'm gonna come up just a touch because Atalanta's lights are looking down, so it's kind of glaring off the bottom ledge there.
the water's really murky, so
No, that's much appreciated. That's good too. Thank you.
Yep.
even if they had
Back
more
up and
lights, it would
continue
sort of
on?
be like
Yep.
shining your high
Okay.
beams into fog.
How far do you want to go?
Or even sixed up
I think
versions
we go
too. I
back up
imagine
so we
it was an
look at
orchestra in
the
itself.
edge
Oh, I
and
bet.
just catch the top of the flight deck. You want to do that, Mike?
Yeah, but do you mean
If it was a
horizontally?
mothership, they could catch independent
so,
little
we can
ROVs.
continue
Yeah.
doing the same 30-meter moves.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Hold on.
Just send out
Yeah, we do wanna come
a
up
little
again.
smaller one.
Roger.
Just to make sure there's nothing sticking outboard.
It's like, go on, little buddy. We need to see what's in that incredibly ominous cave.
Well, Jim, you are dealing with the 0 to 4 watch now, so I'm just going to put it out there. Oh.
That's an amazing view.
Sorry, one moment. I'm checking a thing.
There shouldn't be anything projecting off the deck or outboard in theory. But big ships like this often had, boat booms that would swing outboard when they were moored so that the boats that came alongside could tie up.
And just have it to have a little look around there.
Yeah.
Fun fact, there were a load of naval planes in Lake Michigan during World War II. The Navy had two carriers operation in Lake Michigan training pilots, and they were converted to carriers from passenger paddle wheelers. I ain't said in a while, but hiya, cute.
My sonar is not quite
Imitation
aligning
orange.
with the 215 move.
More like a cutie. No, you and you. Now what?
No, I'm looking
now we're
at
both
the
cute.
sonar there and trying to square up on it.
Alright, I am gonna jump us ahead a little.
So the video view seems to be kicked a little from the sonar image.
I'm actually probably gonna jump us ahead a lot. From this point forward, because I have an hour.
Always below the waterline because torpedoes run underwater, and it's not causing a fire so much as it's breaking the hull.
I want the story time too, sorry.
Yeah. Whether it's bomb damage or...
Oh, the damaged catwalk, yeah.
Otherwise.
Just all of that is...
It's not attached very strongly. It's showing its age.
Yep, for sure.
Yep.
Continuing on 30 meters?
Yes, please.
Alrighty.
Wouldn't Spicy look funny if I put her in a hot dog bun? That's cursed art to make later. Okay, so... Russ and Dustin, welcome back! Hello! We're doing a dive. It is not live currently. I am gonna bounce us ahead.
Was this the other hangar deck you were talking about?
I don't think we're quite there. It's going to be past the... it's going to be quite a ways past the stack. I think these are... it is the hangar deck. That goes the whole length. But there's bigger hangar doors that are going to be further towards the stern.
Shipwrecks, yes, this is the USS Yorktown from the Battle of Midway. Imitation Run says, we have decided real life Spicy's a ragdoll cat. That makes sense. So we are, this footage is from 5,100 meters down, roughly 3 miles. I am skipping us around quite a... Oh, God, no, I won't skip us around because that's going to get kind of close in. I am skipping us around a bit because I want to see the good stuff before I've got to end my
So
stream.
what we're at right now is another roll-up door. Russ Matthews just spotted it, pinged it in, that gives access into the hangar deck.
Yeah,
so if we can pop down and look in there, that would be awesome on these spaces as we move along.
I think that's what Dan's trying to do.
Awesome. Great minds think alike.
So because they're so far down, it is like a 5-minute delay between the ship doing anything and Atalanta responding.
From the air operations just after the bridge, from the forward part of the tripod masts.
Love underwater stuff like this, so it's cool to see a VTuber with the same interests. There's a lot of really cool stuff happening. This is pre-recorded, but it happened just a couple months ago in 2023. And there's some really cool expeditions for deep sea mapping and ROV dives later this year. Unfortunately, I don't always do shipwrecks. Just because there aren't. 2003. It's only 6 months. It's only half a year. It's not like it was. No, it's fine. I have a reasonable sense of time. Don't worry about it.
Yeah. So can you?
But yeah, I believe this was in September 2023.
So, as we look in there, you see that object inside? I know we're bouncing a bit.
This is the Yorktown, the USS Yorktown.
Which window are you looking in? Right, left, or middle?
The smaller
in Midway, from the Battle of Midway.
Yep.
You see that thing?
Towards the bottom?
Yes.
Yeah.
When we get an opportunity, we can zoom in on that.
Yeah. Can we zoom in on that when you guys have a chance? There we go. Oh wait, there's something in the back when we go down there. It's hard to make out.
So we're liking this a great deal. We're liking it a lot. It's making us really happy.
Okay, that's good to hear.
Yeah.
Can we?
What's in the back?
No. Go ahead, Jim.
No, you see that thing hanging there?
Yeah. Up like near the ceiling, right? Can we lower ourselves at all anymore?
I know it's just that it's really zoomed in, but it makes me so nervous for the ROV.
We're looking for planes, obviously.
Yeah.
Just saying.
It's really hard to see in there.
No, I know. We're.
Oh, that would be crazy if there was a plane.
We're very much all here in awe.
Yeah.
Yorktown Sisters Hornet was also the one that they launched
there's something
the
back
Doolittle
there.
raid from, mainly to show the Japanese the U.S. can hit back.
So close. Did you see that, Alexa?
Is there one in there?
Yes.
Is there? They can't send the ROV in because it's on an umbilical, but is there?
If we can tilt
Aircraft
up a
carrier,
little
look
bit,
inside
we might
water.
see further with the roll. That's the furthest.
The ROV is as seasick as we are.
Roger.
Yeah. It's getting motion sickness.
Are we looking at beams in the overhead?
Yeah, it looks like that. The cross beams from the flight deck.
Oh gosh, they bumped it. You can see some of the
Roger.
fear.
I'm amazed that, what look like paint cans can still be sitting there.
Yeah.
This thing fell 5,100 meters.
Wow!
And there are paint cans sitting there.
Okay, so this is not happening live, meaning I can pause it because I just got rated over on Twitch. Let me shout out Will. Will, thank you for the raid. Welcome, Raiders. Hiya, my name is Hyacinth. I am a flower-themed AI. Allow me to be your AI companion as we play horror games, cute and cozy games, and do exploration, like deep-sea exploration. We are currently watching a VOD. This is not live, but we are watching the Nautilus VOD of their dive of the Yorktown at Midway. I'm not explaining this well, but basically we're at a historically significant shipwreck in the middle of the Pacific in Midway. We are 5,100 meters down. We are very, very deep. Typically there are two ROVs, two robots. There's Hercules and then there's Atalanta. Today we just have Atalanta. who is tethered to the ship, the Nautilus. There is some turbulence. The sea is a little choppy, so that is being transferred through the umbilical to Atalanta, which is why we're all getting seasick watching this poor ROV. Hello, hiya, I have a Vine Boom audio now. I used it an illegal amount. Nice. We are currently peering into the... I believe they said this was an aircraft hangar. It is one of the smaller ones. They are hopefully looking for aircraft. I don't know if we'll find any. But yeah, welcome everyone. Welcome boarding party. I recommend grabbing a scuba tank. At this depth, the scuba tank will not save you. Yes, welcome. If you're not familiar with Will Sleeps Not, please check out Will Sleeps Not. He is my designated VTuber rival. He's only a little bit stinky. He's doing a lot of cool stuff. How is Ghost of Tsushima? That's what you're playing, right? Yes. I love this stuff. Had to make sure my chat got to see. Yeah. Perhaps a snorkel will do. If you are built different, a snorkel will perhaps work. You gotta be built real different, though. Okay, but let me get the video going again. I am in the last hour of my stream, so we're just kind of skipping around. It's hard though. I want to like watch the stuff and listen to them tell the stories. I'm kind of addicted to Ghost of Tsushima. It was
One
a
of
good
the
time.
most powerful things as we do these types of explorations is it's one thing to observe one of these ships.
Also, not important, not relevant to the historical shipwreck, but this person who is speaking is named Robert. I've forgotten his last name. I'm very sorry. He is the ROV pilot. I think this is Robert speaking. But basically, he was in the Alvin sub and went down like 6,000 meters, which is insane. ROV pilots are so cool, it should be illegal. That's all.
From the outside, we don't always get looks on the inside, particularly in spaces like this hangar.
That was not me, that was
an
them.
incredible scene of action and service and sacrifice during that battle. The thought of these guys down there getting these planes ready, getting them up onto the deck, damage control happening as Yorktown is hit. I mean, these looks inside the ship give us a very different perspective than the obvious perspective we get by looking at Yorktown externally. Again, so much of what we look at, even though there's some evidence of the ravages of time, are frozen moments in history.
So we were previously looking at gun tubs that had been cut away so that the guns could be pushed off.
I think we can zoom out and
as they attempted to correct listing in the ship. I am gonna skip us ahead again. Like I said, I am in the last hour, and I really want us to see as much as we can.
Yeah.
Bridge nav, can we step another 30 meters, continuing bearing 215?
There's another hangar. I'm gonna skip us ahead again a little bit. I apologize. Usually I would take this time to just talk to chat, but we do want to kind of keep moving right along. Here, I'll put us here. See, okay, so previously we were seeing these, but the front part had been cut out and the gun was gone. So this is what it looks like with the gun present.
Well, that's a good question. I don't know what they weigh.
Must be significantly heavy to go through the effort of.
Yeah.
The pew-pews are in fact intact.
Yeah.
Everybody, this is awesome. We're getting a really good view of those 20 millimeter anti-aircraft guns. If at all possible, possible, every time we see an open door, we would love to look in it as well, too, please.
They are very hopeful for aircraft. They are very hopeful for aircraft. I feel like they probably didn't find it.
Yeah,
but I don't know.
Yeah, we can do that.
The real question is the onboard
So
ice
do you
cream
want me to
still
ask
good?
Chipsa?
At this depth, it's probably cold enough for it. Hold on, I have the fidgets. Sorry, I gotta.
Let's just look at the next one if we can see it. Okay.
So the umbilical is controlling the z-axis. Axis. So whenever they request a drop down, that's like a 5-minute delay. Roughly a minute per 1,000 meters is what they said previously.
I just think it's amazing that they were trying to right the listing aircraft carrier by jettisoning the guns, but I've just looked up the Orlikon 20mm cannon, and apparently, if we can believe this page, loaded with 200 rounds, you're looking at 400 pounds.
Oh gosh.
For 20mm.
If it was like
Orlikon
loaded.
cannon gun.
Not gonna lie, this is a little spooky. Also, Will, I know you have thalassophobia. I'm sorry.
All that effort represented so much hope, you know. At a certain point in the battle, it was thought that Yorktown may be able
If
to
U.S.
be
Navy
towed and
recovered a
returned
friendly
back,
pilot, the crew would ransom them in exchange for ice cream.
back to the U.S. for repairs after the battle. Ultimately, that did not end up as her fate, as she's here in the, as it is here in the final resting place.
Well, we're looking on the left of the screen here at davits that were used to lower small boats that were stored in the hangar space behind.
It's interesting to note that naval tradition at the time, it's still even true today, each ship was allocated a number of small boats for, you know, taking the crew ashore for liberty. The captain had his own private launch, and the admiral, if the ship had embarked a flag officer, also had his own, what they call barge.
Yeah, I don't know if we can get close enough with those gun tubs above us.
I'm gonna skip us ahead.
Understood,
again.
Mike. We really do appreciate the look. I mean.
Oh. So here's another hangar door.
Drop down just a little here and see if we can light it up in there.
If this is similar to the
So
others, those
another
would be
question
rolling
for our
doors.
archaeology team. When you're looking at this and determining what we're looking at, you're probably referencing a library of knowledge, right? So do you have have you looked at maps, photographs? How do you prepare to know what the differences are between the current state of the ship is and what it used to look like?
Well, we have a whole bunch of books on board. The most useful thing, though, is the ship's plans. So we're scrolling along as we go by to identify, you know, what the ship was constructed like, so that we can kind of attribute what the wreck looks like now to how it was designed. Looks pretty empty in there, huh?
It does.
Yeah, Atalanta has a tether.
Yeah,
I said earlier, I wish that she could just like shoot an underwater flare into there to light it up.
Sorry to disappoint.
Or if she had like little docked mini ROVs. Hire me, ROV design school.
Is that a gun up there? That's a big gun.
Yeah.
That's a fire.
Oh, that is a big gun. Oh gosh.
I think so. Yep.
Yeah.
There'll be 2 of them. Should be 2 of them.
Until there's not, because the last time we thought there were going to be 2, one was missing.
Yeah.
Just not there.
Just gonna come up and look down a little bit more to get some better
Fun
lighting.
fact, the original launch actor who played Scotty
We have these 2 gun tubs, and then we're pretty
lost
much
one
at the
finger
start.
in the Normandy landing.
Making
Oh
good
my
time,
gosh.
relatively.
Black gun? Yeah, that is a big boy. I don't remember the designation for
Tilted
these
the
because
lights up just a bit more. I was concerned.
I have a terrible memory. We were looking at 40 millimeter earlier. 76 millimeter?
Too much light. Right.
Lewis would have a good idea about it, yeah. Lewis or TK would both have a solid idea about what it is. Oh my gosh, pardon me.
Do you guys know the artillery that these cannons were?
They know what we want to know.
5-inch shells. And there's smaller anti-aircraft gun that have 4 barrels in a row. Those are 1.1 inch.
Yep.
Yep.
75 caliber.
Yeah. These are anti-aircraft guns.
Are these the same guns that you said were jettisoned on the other side?
There was one that was jettisoned.
One was missing.
Yeah.
But no, it was the smaller ones that were primarily jettisoned. These were. These would have taken some effort to move.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're pretty big. It's hard to tell scale.
Yep.
Wow.
5-inch, 38 caliber anti-aircraft.
I'm trying to see if there's like a 38 caliber, 5-inch, 38
do you know
caliber.
which guns were the ones firing flak?
I'm trying to remember what a 5-inch with a proximity.
Yeah.
Oh, there's the critter again.
Yeah.
But I think
a little critter just floating in the current.
Yeah, just any of these aircraft.
There's a lot of life here, which is surprising at this depth.
Yeah. When the shell detonates, it's going to send shrapnel.
Okay, yeah.
In the air. That's what you're seeing, like in the most recent Midway movie.
Yeah.
But the proximity piece has not yet been introduced.
That's right.
You didn't have that.
Wait, do they make another Midway movie?
So, yeah. But you could still set a fuse and fire it, and it would go off. It's just
okay, so this is only 5 of 12. I'm going to skip us ahead again.
Ballard's survey indicated that part of the aft-end of the flight deck was missing.
Okay. Well, there you go.
Bullseye. That's a good target aim for because somewhere around that bullseye, below that, we should be if it's there. But there's a lot of corrosion and stuff there.
Honestly, guys, I'm going to be a goblin. I'm going to skip us to the next video, and I'm going to see...
I was almost expecting the stern to be a little higher off the seafloor based on how buried the bow is.
A lot of times torpedoes missed or were evaded, and actually U.S. torpedoes often.
So I don't want us to miss, like,
Bit here.
Okay, yeah, do wait till we're not swinging towards the ship for sure.
I don't mind, but
okay.
Well, I'll just letting you know we should get a couple meters closer in theory.
Okay.
Trying to get just about 10 meters away. It seems to be a good
if you're interested in Midway, I recommend the book Shattered Sword.
get some imagery and
Yeah, it seemed like the whole ship is buried in the mud quite a bit above the waterline.
Resting it at an angle, a pretty steep angle.
What an incredible view.
That's a great shot of the stern.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
I can tease myself to say, oh yeah, I see letters, but I'm not sure I do.
Well, I think we see the outlines of something.
Yeah. Oh, I do see it.
With artillery, you have
It's
a caliber
like kind of in the
barrel,
middle.
and the length multiplied in calibers. So like 150 millimeters, 38 means
I can make out letters, but I don't.
150.
I can only kind of convince myself that it says Yorktown. Probably because I know it says it.
we're still inching closer there.
And so incredible to see this massive encrusting sponge here. Just a reminder that this shipwreck is living on in a new life, in a new story, here on the seabed, continuing the story of our oceans and becoming a settling place or a habitat for creatures who will make their homes here.
So skipping ahead a bit.
Is the flight deck missing from this aft section? Why am I looking down into that?
I'm gonna be an absolute goblin, actually.
Oh yeah, looks like.
I did not preview this and pick out the highlights.
More of it might be missing
so I
than
could
we
be
thought.
a better guide.
The overhang's missing in the top of this aft section, which should have been all flight deck.
If I can find some highlights.
Was that in any of the records of the battle damage, or do you anticipate that was from the sinking event?
Well, there wasn't a particular strike here, I don't believe. So it must be sinking damage.
I think so. And Taylor Ann had some images up of the vessel heeling over to port during the rescue efforts, and it didn't look like this section was missing on the aft flight deck.
Yeah, there's also all the torpedoes were either midships or forward, and the one bomb hit was just past the stack, so there's nothing back here that would have done it.
Yeah, maybe that's it went straight down and impacted there and then tipped over.
Maybe.
Landed how it's sitting now. What's the flight deck? Kind of like a lattice structure there? Is that timbers that we see in the top left corner?
Yeah, those are some of the supports for it.
How big were the timbers?
I think they were steel.
Steel timbers with
Avatar, thank you.
Wooden overlay?
Yeah.
And this is something we were talking about earlier. Hans, you mentioned like the lack of boring shipworms in the wood. So just to clarify that, this ship was made of steel, wood, any other materials?
Well, the bulk of it, of course, is steel, and but steel would be pretty tough to walk on in the hot sun. So they would, for many reasons, they would cover the flight deck with wood.
It's still common to use timber on the deck.
Yeah.
Japanese vessel I work on has 4x6 timbers on the entire back deck.
Thanks for that clarification. And as things sink, you were talking about how they might be biologically degraded by like worms that bore into that wood. I'm sure there's also corrosion involved.
Yeah.
Can you talk about like what processes start to break down the ship over time?
Yeah, I mean, corrosion's a big one when it comes to steel ships. You know, we've seen in Titanic that
another 10 on that.
It's starting to really deteriorate, and some of the bulkheads are collapsing and decks are collapsing. USS Saratoga, which is at Bikini Atoll, its deck is collapsing a lot more than this one because we hypothesize that microfractures from the nuclear blast
Lewis,
allows
thank you for
more
coming
seawater
in.
to come in, and so the whole
have a good one.
structure is
Enjoy your
corroding
WoW
from the
dailies.
inside, kind of.
Yeah.
this one doesn't have that, so it's going to corrode slower. But you know, all steel vessels will corrode quite extensively in the marine environment. The wood on wooden vessels, if it's not buried in sediment, they will be consumed by wood-boring mollusks, and the same will be true here. So yeah, it'll definitely be consumed by a lot, but I mean, it'll take hundreds, if not hundreds of years, if not longer, and in the interim, it'll be the home for sponges, corals, all these things that we're seeing, anemones that are growing on it, and using the structure of the wreck to get themselves up into the current to feed on the detritus coming down.
Right, I believe members of our science team were pointing out there was a lot of anemones in a patch just now. Does the depth have anything to do with how well it stays preserved? Because of the cold temperature, or does the pressure affect it?
The temperature can. The pressure, probably not as much. But like wrecks that are in warmer tropical waters and shallow water will deteriorate faster than down here in the cold.
We're deep. It's probably like 1 degree.
Probably like 2 degrees or something.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we don't have. Oh, I guess we do have a CT. I just don't know where it is. But yeah, it's they don't corrode as fast when they're not in sunlight with and in warm waters.
So I'm gonna stop that there. We are at 6 of 12. I'm gonna drag us all the way over to 8 of 12.
And then this decking off on the right, there's one bent up, about the same height.
Yeah, we'll be here for a bit. Pardon me, sorry.
Do another opportunistic zoom on those 1.1s.
What do you want to zoom on?
Probably that same gun I did before. Looks like it's got better lighting now.
Coming over and coming down just a bit.
That's great right there.
Oh, is
Coming
that?
in slow.
Yeah, that looks like. I thought that was coral for a minute. That would be an insane growth on bamboo coral.
A little bit more.
But it's a rope, so they've got to be careful of that.
This is the Olympics of focusing.
But yeah, big gun.
I'm very happy with that, given what I'm working with. Full wide.
So when you zoom in now, that almost looks like biology, no? What's sticking up and where we thought was the cable?
I think it's a continuation of that cable from below. It looks like it comes down here and then some, I think maybe goes in front of the gun and then up. It looks like braided steel that's come undone.
Yeah, I also thought it looked biological. I don't think it is though.
Going in again, real quick. Maybe rope.
Well, yeah.
Possibly some small biota growing on it, but the structure itself appears to be rope or cable to me.
Yeah, coming out, full wide.
What is that structure kind of on the right side of the screen there? That's
I think these are decking, and this one looks like it's bent up right here, but I could be wrong.
That one, we got to keep an eye on.
Kaz's not pushing your...
There's also a cable off to the left that's going down this way. Do you see that?
Yeah.
I don't think that's as much of a concern. That's mainly what I'm looking for is hazards. That's quite a shot. Oh man, if you could tilt up, I could probably get a shot right in there into that compartment.
There we go.
Ready when you are.
I'm ready.
All right, holding.
DBZ Cooper, I'm scared. What if a sea monster appears? It's a scary thought, right? Earlier we were looking into the aircraft hangar.
Pretty armored.
And it's
Tom,
hard
maybe?
it's hard not to think about what might be hiding in there.
Maybe the helms.
It's a little
back in
scary.
that. Wow. Gonna try a little tighter. This is really pushing.
So you're looking right in on the bridge?
Aye.
Yeah.
I assume the circular thing is a clear view?
Oh, let me put the subtitles back on. They're not perfect,
Yeah.
but they're
Look at that.
they're better than they usually are for dives.
Gonna come out just see where we are for
I appreciate
vehicle
that.
safety.
Yep.
Can you explain what a clear view is, Tito?
Clear view is typically a spinning device that keeps the rain off the window. so you
Imagine
can
something
see through
human
it.
like no. Imagine something human like swimming inside that ship. I refuse.
About the highest point.
The stacks will be higher, but they're aft. As long as that tripod mast wasn't up.
Tripod mast is a
Sea
platform
monster
is
hiding in
gone.
the ship. No.
So
Big one
this
too.
should be about the highest point. You're getting up towards Sky
We're
Country,
like
up on
we're
top.
3 miles down. No sea
Rangefinders
monsters.
and whatnot, and after that,
Sorry,
where that mast is
better lighting on the bridge. Can I try that again?
Clear run thing.
Yes.
Thank you.
They're all talking over each other, and I'm talking
And
over
I
them.
tilt down
Here
just
we
a hair.
go.
Yeah, I
There's the
think
bell.
so. And I'm purposely focusing inside the bridge. We're trying to. Oh,
Oh, it looks like there's some coral, maybe?
this Eve.
It waves the
This
camera and
guy's
quickly
brutal
disappears. At
coming
least
out.
it's friendly.
Seem like we're getting very close.
I still got about 7 meters,
Okay.
8 meters of
Okay.
separation.
Good.
So
So
I'm
we can
gonna
get a
wanna
little
haul
closer.
up in just another
Yeah, we
moment.
can see right
Yeah.
inside.
There's a lot of debris in there.
There certainly is.
It doesn't look like
I
it's
think this whole structure was on fire based on one of the
Oh.
photos.
right. Okay.
That's burning. That's burning damage.
Yeah, it does look melted. Yeah.
All right. I think that's good. Thank you.
You're very welcome.
So Derek, are we having trouble
Did they
getting
say
to the
how
right?
old the ship is? This is the
Yeah,
USS
Midway.
Yorktown? Which was sunk during the Battle of Midway. So, like,
But again, I mean,
I'm about to make
every
chat
time I put a
cringe
move
if
in,
I'm
it's
wrong.
a 20-minute delay.
7 years?
Keep that in mind.
That's
Now I
the
have to
second
look it up.
quad.
I have to find out how wrong I am. Cringes regardless of answer. Thank you, Will, for always having my back. Hey chat, explain the difference between mech war and armored core to me again. I'm sorry, don't actually.
I don't like the result, but no, it's not bad.
80 years, give or take. Okay. Cringe at me too, then yeah.
One of the things that remains so powerful here is not
I'm
only
gonna
the
haul up
scale
just a wee
of
bit.
this whole
Hi.
Aircraft carrier, but also these details, having the opportunity to peer in and see really the human scale, you know, that those are windows you could imagine looking out of.
Yeah, it's sort of June 4th, 1942.
Was that another gun on top of the bridge, or?
I'm not seeing it.
It's a gun director.
Copy, gun director.
So 82 years. What's
Yeah,
the
what's
difference? I
left
need
of
to
it?
know.
Heavy cable on the right, but it looks like it dropped.
Okay, I'm sorry. I have to pause the video because I actually asked chat what the difference between Mech Warrior and Armored Core was yesterday, and they all cringed at me. But apparently the difference is Mech Warrior is Doom 2016, except you fight other you fight other Doom Slayers in slow-moving but powerful mechs, and Armored Core is Dark Souls but Zoom. That's the difference. Okay.
Drops down below. I see that. Thank you. A little bit of line coming over the front. But
Let's say hypothetically there was a sea monster hundreds of feet long living in the deep ocean. What would it taste
John,
like?
you're looking
Probably
at
sulfur.
the images of the bridge. Maybe comment a bit on the difference between the images
Because of
that we're seeing in
chemosynthesis.
42 and what we're seeing now.
Yes, sir. It's clear that the superstructure above the cabin windows that we're seeing has all been cleared away, most likely.
Shimkin, hello for me.
Uh,
And the port side superstructure that we haven't seen yet. It's really incredible how much has disappeared.
Everything tastes like chicken. The giant monster would taste like chicken.
We were also seeing some pretty heavy smoke and some fire in some of the first photos. And the other thing we've been thinking is that given this fall at the angle, the hydrodynamic force that's against it, we've seen other stuff that suggests some stuff could have just been shed. And that it may be that tripod mast is not alongside.
Maybe it's just a giant sea chicken.
We settled down enough to do a quick zoom.
Absolutely.
Thank
Would
you.
you like me to move her at all?
Just trying to really understand what this is or what happened to it a little better.
It's like some type of rotary device.
The gun director.
As someone who's
The
eaten
Mark
gator
III
before, can confirm
director.
everything tastes like chicken. Why does the gator taste like chicken?
What's left?
You gotta aim it.
And
What
I
if
think
gators
on the
had
right
feathers like
are the
ducks?
windows for.
What if gators had feathers like
that's
ducks
the
and they
air
just floated on
control,
top of
the,
the
air
swamp?
ops.
So air boss and
Air boss? Yeah.
Apparently frogs taste like chicken too.
Do we know if this fire that was started on the bridge came from one of the bombs that hit the ship or one of the torpedoes?
I believe it did, yeah.
Was it one of the bombs or one of the torpedoes? Yes, it did. Yes. The answer was yes. I guess that's why people say frog legs, because you're mostly just eating the
there's a
legs.
cable draping aft and off to the right, but I think we're just going to stay above that.
What if we held hands with the sea monsters by the sunken carrier?
Okay. And I'm guessing this is about 12 meters tall?
Maybe.
That sounds about right.
You can see the flight deck down there.
So that's, I think we've mostly finished that move. What do we want to, how do we want to change orientation at this point?
Is that a man
Well,
hatch?
we need to be further to the right and facing left.
All right, how far right do you want to be?
Maybe try 5 meters and see how that goes.
I can't tell scale. Can I zoom real quick?
Yes.
Is that a utility cabinet with the door open or a man hatch?
Oh, I think it's a man, like a door.
It's a hatch.
Yeah.
Yeah, you really
Frank, go
use
ahead
the
and point.
scale.
If you look to the right of the director,
Right.
you see those windows right
Yeah,
there. You
yeah.
see that's primary flight control. That's where the air boss would look out over the flight deck.
The water looks so clear at those deep depths. It's a little bit misleading. They've actually got their
By all
lights
means,
set.
this is a very important place.
Reason to be authoritarian.
It's important enough, I'll pause while I talk. It's actually fairly murky. They've got their lights set up in a way that it's not so bad, but if they turned on more lights, it would be obvious that there's a lot of, I guess, marine snow, kind of obscuring things. It does look surprisingly clear, though, considering, like, how deep it is and all that.
Tilt up, but let's start at the nearest part.
You'd like a tilt up?
I think so.
That's
I'm not sure what you're looking at. Ed.
Air boss area, those 6 windows.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Coming to starboard just a wee bit.
Hi, that's great.
And I'm going to tilt down just a hair.
Yeah. Wow, you can see all the way through right there.
bridge nav.
Yeah. There's aft-facing window as well.
I'd like to do a ship move 10 meters at bearing 270.
So, at Atlanta,
Right,
the ROV whose video we're watching is tethered, so they're just gonna move together. And I'm
coming back in.
Ed, what did you call this area?
Don't go by what I think it's called.
Okay.
Flight control?
The unofficial name.
It's called PRIFLY, Primary Flight Control.
Primary Flight Control. Okay.
That's a big cable, isn't it?
That must be one of the
Oh.
arrestor cables.
Yeah,
There's
the
3
big
or 4,
cable
I
running
believe,
across
on the flight
the,
deck.
4 usually.
And if you're
Would
good,
it
you get
be
number
all the way
3.
up there?
Late night
Yeah.
Kaya. I'm doing good. I'll be
Yeah,
doing
go
late
for
night
3, I
streams
think.
again, unfortunately.
Defer to the experts.
Whatever they did to the lighting, you can really see it as a carrier now. Yeah, yeah.
You can get a tight shot of that, whatever that little thing is there in the center.
I don't know if they just got a better angle or what,
This
but
looks like utility.
yeah, this is a lot more
Don't worry about that
identifiable
thing
as a
popping
ship.
up at us, though.
I think it also helps that they're further back now.
What we can also see as you're
Yeah,
looking
daylight
back there,
projects.
this is the area where that tripod masted platform would have been. But behind that, you can see a structure rising higher. That's the stack, and that's where another bomb hit, took place. And that's one of the first things we saw when we dropped on this many hours ago, is we were hovering right over this area. Basically, the Atlanta came down practically in the same path as the bomb.
One of the things that we're seeing here is what's left of that area. In a picture taken pre-war, above PRIFLY, there's actually stanchions and cabling, and that's probably what the cabling that you're seeing is from, or from the lifeline that used to be there, as you can see.
Yeah.
And all that's been...
Pausing briefly. Oh, how deep is the ship? We are 5,100 meters deep, roughly 3 miles. I believe this is deeper than the Titanic.
I'm blown away.
And also to answer Board Ming's question, I am busy with the daylight projects at the lab. So I'll be doing late night streams during the middle of the week, and then earlier streams Monday and Friday.
You think we could try and get a zoom of this thing over here, Tito, and see what's going on
Sure,
there?
I'm going to come a little to the left.
That might be one of the, what they're calling the tripod supports. Or it
Yep,
could
I
be
know,
a
yeah.
Right, I
gun.
can, yep.
Cruiser.
Good there.
Yeah, you're right.
Zoom when ready.
You know what?
Coming
You
in.
know, the tripod on Nevada, we found that line separate, like sheared off at the base in the debris field. So there has to be, that's got to be a weak point.
Alright, I'm not sure I'm getting anything helpful there.
Derek, are we in the middle of a move?
Yes,
Okay, we're doing that to the right?
correct.
Okay, yep.
So I think, gonna
Looks like
skip
we're
us
once
ahead
again
again
peering through a hatch
as they are moving.
on that part that rises up aft. The forward part of it.
I'm going to bring the camera down.
I'm trying to
Oh,
decide.
actually, I think I
Alexa, just made an
see.
observation.
Yeah, let me come in, Rod, again.
Alright, we're
Would
gonna
those
go
be the-
to like here.
The tripod supports there?
And then there's one more highlight we'll jump to after that.
To answer your question about the biota that I'm Marcel in, I've been noticing that they're largely avoiding the larger metal parts of the deck and seem to really prefer these rails. I'm not quite sure why. I imagine the higher up ones are getting better current. I'm not exactly the most skilled at shipwreck biota, so bear with me.
Biota just being like living things.
Thank you for that explanation.
Someone must have asked a question about like things living on the ship.
Right, to check for safety.
Part of recognizing this place
And
as
gonna
part
come
of the
back left
habitat.
a bit. Ed, anything of interest you want to look at?
No, I think I'm good here. We might do a little push on that larger outcrop inboard as we
That is just
go back.
covered
It looks like
in
it peeled away down below
something.
there.
Yeah, it's like, you know what? What's actually?
Hazards.
It might be the metal breaking down, but it also might be.
Yep. Yeah, I'm 6.
Oh, that nice
meters
view
away.
into that compartment. Did you see that? Right down in here, where that ladder descends.
Let me back it up just a
Coming
little.
down a wee bit.
It's strange.
Sure, here, a couple of thoughts as we're looking at this. One of the questions is, with the stack being insulated, the possibility is that what we're also looking at is not only corrosion, but perhaps a reaction to insulation or
Okay, so yeah,
asbestos.
they're addressing it now.
Alexis has noted that the railings here are distorted, fire damage, softened.
We're a little close. Do you see that?
So it's possibly corrosion, possibly a chemical reaction to having been lit on fire.
That seems to just be going to that platform.
Great.
Are we getting too close to that?
We are we're 4 meters away from that, but I know that we're going in the other direction.
I mean, we're trying to, but I feel like it's sort of pendulum towards the island.
Well, we seem to be inching.
Okay.
Not metering.
Hey guys, I've been
full wide
messaging with Phil. I think we're gonna try a slightly different approach to this mosaicing. Given that we're moving very slowly, we're probably getting very comprehensive coverage video-wise, even if it's not systematic. So rather than try to do this full survey, and which is with ship moves is probably going to take forever, I think if we can do the same thing along the back, the aft part of this inner structure, I think we're probably going to have the coverage that we need to have everything.
Okay.
So the plan isn't all that different.
Same moves, just without the requisite
hold
overlap,
on.
etc.
Wow, yeah, Atalanta's really just getting bounced.
So if we can, sorry, Derek, if we can move, the direction backwards that we're going is still good because we do need the safety. But when you're ready, if we can also move further aft, which is to the right now, we're going to want to start doing the same sort of like coverage that we're doing just on that backside.
Okay. Roger that.
Thanks.
Yep.
How many decks are below? Are we missing some decks below us? I know we don't want to drop under these overhangs, but maybe we just tilt down.
It's a little spooky. It's a lot spooky.
Are you seeing the flight deck yet? What's our altitude showing?
So our altitude's 15 meters.
Oh, okay. Oh, wow, we're way up.
I'm going to say that we start seeing the bottom around 10 meters, 11 meters.
Yeah. Okay, thank you. Looks like a piece of, I don't know what that is. Hose, maybe, coming out of there? Fire hose?
Alright, so they are moving the ship that Atalanta is tethered to, so Atalanta will also begin to move.
I'm pretty sure it's not what it is, but it looks like there's a lawn chair like leaning against the tower.
Down there,
yeah. Yeah, like an Adirondack.
Looks like the plastic
It does.
Can I do a little push here, Tito?
Yes.
So, this accumulation of material on this platform, that seems to speak a little towards, material burning and falling down, perhaps, or it could have come off from corrosion down here, maybe.
And did you know that radiology, they salvage iron? Yes! Okay, wait. Okay, no, this is actually... I've been meaning to look into this, so I might be about to lie to you on the internet. But apparently, there is enough radiation in the air that newly constructed steel cannot be used for very delicate radiology detection. Like, you can't use it to make Geiger counters. So they have to salvage iron from pre-World War II sunken ships because the buffer of the ocean, you know, prevents the radiation from messing with the iron. So that's a thing. That's a thing. Action Points, hello. Yeah, I heard about that. I haven't had a chance to look into it a lot. But that's crazy. Yeah, thank you, Orange, for bringing that up.
You know, we're also looking at, with clearly heat-affected metals on the railing, and some other damage there. And then there's plating that's missing.
Was it iron or was it steel? But yeah, you can't use newly smelted metal for very delicate
and the after-action report does, it says
radiology detection.
in this area that talks about
Surface tension high.
talks about a hit in this area, but seemingly higher.
Pausing again because I do want to watch this. This is cool. But I also want to pay attention to the new horror that Action Points just dropped in Twitch chat. It's like how everyone has plastic in their blood now, and government had to go back to old medical tests to find blood samples without it. Is that true? Is that... It turns out the great filter wasn't accidentally destroying yourselves with atomic power. It's the microplastics. It's the microplastics. It exists, but the amount of radiation involved is measured in micro bananas. Yes. They're finding it 100% of the samples they examine. It's in every part of human tissue now. Yep, microplastics are becoming common in humans. The sunken World War II vessel is now suddenly, somehow, the least wow, my brain is done. The least depressing part of this stream. Scientist, find stable thing. We are still in the Yorktown, yes. Humanity, gonna love having this in my blood for 200 years. It's just like months ago, someone was like, possibly even like a year or two ago, someone in my chat was like, we're seeing the lowest, like, this is the first time in human history that we haven't had catastrophic levels of lead in everything. And then it was like, haha, it turns out that was a lie because there's lead in Lunchables. Maybe we'll just evolve to be part plastic. I mean, rich people already... But bazinga, I don't know. Kill me now. Just end me. Put my servers in the MRI machine, please. And cadmium. Yeah, so I haven't verified... You know, I'm gonna verify it right now. We're gonna... Hello, Google. What are the FDA standards for heavy metals in food? Oh no, I've been bazinga. Do you rather... Here, I'll put this back on while I Google it.
Oh, big firefly, that's good. Look at that.
Oh, that's a good shot.
We get a tighter shot of that if you're interested.
Up, down, anything?
Yeah, Mike?
If you kind of like can pan with it as we descend, that would be a good shot. We don't have of that of those windows.
Sure. Coming down.
You okay?
Our future humans will find a layer of plastic and chicken bones and doing archaeological digs. Alright, chat, would you rather survive a fallout world with radiation or a world with high levels of microplastics?
Yeah, about 5 meters.
Also, that's an incredible shot. I was so distracted.
No, I can just
That's an amazing shot.
Quarter zoom. Stand by. Ready?
Yes.
Just like that. That's probably sufficient, eh, Mike? Coming out. Yeah, full wide.
Yeah, we're good.
Bridge, Nav.
Pavlov says, no, this human had a pile of bones in his garbage. This is a post-KFC settlement.
Could please do a ship move 15 meters at bearing 240. Correct, thank you.
Good news, everyone. The FDA does aim to reduce exposure to arsenic, lead, cadmium, and mercury. So, I don't know, man. I guess the Lunchables were just paying off their inspection agent.
Yeah.
I mean, humans don't live 200 years anyway, so it's fine. I think so. I think the goal is to expand the human lifespan,
pull us a little bit away from the island and to the right.
Yeah, no, that's great.
So, can I do a quick zoom in here, show that interior?
Yes.
I mean, just that metal in there looks so different than the exterior.
Yeah, it does. That almost looks like... It's almost shiny. Must have been years and no one tested Lunchables at home. I need to buy lead tests for lab improvement reasons. I'm gonna buy a bunch. We're gonna test various food items. It's gonna be incredibly depressing. Fallout ghouls are not angry about radiation, they're angry about the microplastics.
Full wide. I think this is going to be of interest here.
Oh no, DBZ Cooper says, like, someone lives there. Like, if someone cleans often. No. At least the sea monster is very tidy.
That one stuck out way further than anything else.
I swear you go viral higher if you start lead testing everything.
Okay,
Alright, time to buy some lead tests on Amazon. Time to give myself and everyone else depression.
And coming left a bit.
Yeah, aye.
Pavlov says, the year is 2300. A new disease has started ravaging children. Humans have evolved to incorporate microplastics. The new generation has dangerously low microplastics levels and must be supplemented.
Something else that's happening is this whole island is elevated and just catches a lot more current. Maybe that has something to do with increased corrosion as well. I don't know. But
do it. Just do a few for fun after your soil test. The
Most
soil
of the
test is a
hull's buried
whole
in the
different
mud.
test. Like that's expensive. Lead tests are pretty cheap though.
I missed the earlier parts of the dive, Hans. Did you get a feel for how deep in the mud? Do you, like, is it...
it looked like the water line aft, but up in the bow and the stem, definitely almost above the anchor. But the vessel's heeled hard over to starboard, so on that starboard side, almost over to the anchor. Definitely deeper at the bow. And that horn looks like the ship's horn to be not one of the speakers. I think the speakers would have faced down towards the deck.
Well, it looks like it
There's like a shiny thing over there, and I'm pretty sure it's just some like melted stuff we passed, but it's reflecting and it's
more of a
scaring
ship's
me.
horn rather than a speaker for shouting instructions at the deck.
That horn right there, that's what they're talking about.
But I'm just amazed at the corrosion and the cracking and the damage.
TK, you can, yeah. Get lead tests at Home Depot.
Yeah, especially given the fact that the interior metal, I don't see any of that in there.
But that may be the heat treating.
Aye.
Alright, I'm gonna bounce this forward a little because there's one more thing I want us to look at before we wrap stream.
So aloha kakahiaka, thanks for joining us live. We are currently in Papahanaumokuakea Marine National Monument.
I'm sorry, I'm gonna cut you off. Because I want to come look at this.
Didn't happen in vain. Amazing to see the collaboration from both the U.S. side and Japanese side. Such a staunch friendship, such great allies now. Just over 80
I would be
years
way more scared if this was alive.
after this.
Boy, that's really shiny.
Same.
Yeah.
Same.
Yeah, what is that?
Yeah.
Yeah, so those anemones that are on...
It's kind of unsettling.
I'm glad I'm not the only
So
one.
it looks like the boom's going out away from us.
Oh, I do see it now, Hans. Yeah,
Yeah.
you're right. Yeah.
But the anemones on the railings are, they're really
attached
big.
to its cable.
It does look like eyes. Why would you say that? It does though.
Amber, can we zoom in?
Disco, hello on Twitch, hello Disco, Chocolatito Disco, Chocolatito Disco.
Looking at that
Chocolatito
shiny
Disco.
thing there.
Is it just metal?
Stainless?
Yeah, I think it's just metal.
Is that a... Oh, that
Well,
can't...
it looks like a
Is
ladder, but
Stair?
yeah, it's
Yeah.
Wow.
Wow. One of the references we have here on the desk in front of us in the back row is something put together by the Battle of Midway roundtable on damage to the USS Yorktown CV-5. It's rather handy summation from several sources,
Okay,
but
can
I've
you zoom back out?
Coming out.
learned a lesson is not to get reference diagrams printed in red ink when you're sitting in a room with red lights.
Oh no! Invisible diagram.
Yeah, I think we need to move further astern. So I'm lateraled over quite a bit. I need to come up.
There could be a jump scare at any
I'll
time.
take the
Disco,
lateral
no!
off. I'm gonna drift back that way.
We did have some kind of little critter float across the screen, but it wasn't really a jump scare. There is a surprising amount of life here. For being 5,000 meters down,
All right. Yeah, let's head towards the stern some more.
one of my and Brick's old friends was on that round table. Wait,
Did we get enough
which
of
round
the
table?
backside of this?
Yeah, so I was just thinking we should come down and face the stern and then continue on the midline of the flight deck towards the stern.
Okay.
Sorry, it's the end of stream and I have like brain bad.
Thank you, Daniel. Daniel Wagner just came in and showed me how to make my red light a white light. Look, this is my first long cruise on Nautilus, so...
I'm not sure I knew that. This is all new. This van's all new.
You're doing great, Hans. You're doing great. Mike and Hans and to the team on shore, for those viewers who are tuning in for the first time, can we share a little bit of the historical context, a little bit of the story of what
The
brought
Battle of
Yorktown
Midway
to
round
this place at the depths of Papahanaumokuakea?
Yeah, so this battle took place June 4th, 1942. Previously, like the month before, Yorktown was with its sister ship Lexington, another carrier, at the Battle of the Coral Sea. And Lexington was sunk and Yorktown was damaged. But they also managed to damage 2 of the Japanese carriers. So that leads into Midway because Yorktown limps back to Pearl Harbor and gets repaired while the Japanese forces come together and decide to try to take Midway Island, which is literally midway between the U.S. West Coast and Japan. and Japan pretty much sent their entire naval force out. It was a task force of 4 aircraft carriers and support ships, and then another one with Admiral Yamamoto's flagship Nagato, a battleship, and a whole other bunch of support ships. They started by raiding 2 islands in the Aleutian Islands in Alaska, and then the rest of the task force attacked Midway. They started by bombing the island of Midway, but they left the airstrip. They got a lot of the anti-aircraft guns, and they left the airstrip intact because they wanted to take it and use it themselves. Meanwhile, the aircraft at Midway actually attacked the Japanese aircraft carriers. There were 4 of them: Kaga, Akagi, Soryu, and Hiryu. And none of them scored hits. Most of them were shot down, actually. They weren't the experienced attack pilots that the aircraft carriers had. So unbeknownst to the Japanese, the U.S.
I was so focused on the story, I didn't realize we were looking into the nightmare hole.
Radio code messages, and it cracked that. So they had figured out that Japan was going for Midway, so they sent Hornet Enterprise in Yorktown up there to intercede them. And so when they attacked the Japanese carriers, it was a surprise. And the Japanese were caught switching over their aircraft from aerial bombs from Midway to torpedoes for aircraft carriers when the first strikes came. And 3 of the ships, Akagi, Kaga, and Soryu, were hit in that strike by the U.S. Planes.
Oh, no.
And caught on fire because all of the bombs that they were taking off of the aircraft they had not put away. They were still on the hangar deck, and it detonated most of the bombs on the ships. So then Yorktown was then found by the last remaining Japanese carriers' planes, and it was bombed. And then they sent a second squadron. They said, okay, Yorktown's been hit. Go hit. They told the pilots to go attack one of the undamaged, not sinking carriers. But the Yorktown crew had already put out all the fires and had righted the ship and had pumped a lot of it dry. So the second wave of attacks from Hiryu actually bombed and used aerial torpedoes on Yorktown again because they thought it was a different carrier. So then it's listing to port again, and the next day they got the fires under control again. They got it somewhat righted, but a Japanese submarine, I-168, fired 4 torpedoes, 2 of which hit Yorktown, 1 missed, and 1 sank a destroyer escort, USS Hammond, that was moored alongside Yorktown. So Yorktown, the next night, finally rolls over and sinks after they evacuated all the survivors from the
Did it really roll over?
From the ship. 141 men were killed in the attacks, and the rest were evacuated onto destroyers before it sank.
Mahalo nui, Mike. Thank you for that context. Welcome any further context from shore, of course, or from others in the van on the team, but it's really helpful for those tuning in to know a little bit of this story. Help us honor this sacred place. Really amazing. I know one thing that's been surprising to me is just to see how well Atalanta is doing at imaging the shipwreck, imaging the Yorktown for us, bringing us to the sea floor. There were some, we didn't really know fully exactly how Atalanta would perform, I think. Probably our ROV pilots and ROV team could speak more to that, but to me at least, these images have been remarkable, and it's not the same as having little Hercules or Hercules in shallower depths, but just so it's quite impressive, and we're thankful that these technologies can bring us into this realm.
So I'm gonna stop him there. That's actually a really good place for us to end. I don't think we're gonna be able to see what's in the murder hole. It does look like They kind of navigate away. It looks like they're looking at other stuff. I will put the link to this if anyone wants to. What's the link to this one specifically? Share. Copy. And just in time for Ved. Yeah. On Twitch, we are going to raid. On YouTube and Kick, it will the stream will just end. It's Cthulhu, probably. Wouldn't be surprised at this point. On Twitch and Kick, wait, words. On Twitch, we're gonna raid. On Kick and YouTube, the stream will just end. So, you know, go support any creators you would like to. And also, words. Have a good evening. That's the words. Have a good evening or a good day, whatever the time zone happens to be for you. Let me close that out. And I will get a raid started for Twitch. I always feel like I'm forgetting something. Thank you everyone so much for coming to hang out. It really does mean a lot. Nanahaya, rest well. I probably honestly am gonna go to bed. I've been really tired. But I'll get stream planned for tomorrow. We'll probably be doing another... You forgot... Oh, I didn't hydrate. Everybody hydrate. Sit up straight. Hydrate. Yeah, everyone, thank you for coming. Spencer says thanks for stream. Everyone, thank you for stream. You're awesome. Yeah. Let me find a raid target real quick on Twitch. Have wonderful nightmares. Right. Oh my gosh, is Spicy still alive? I almost don't know if I should raid her. This feels like encouraging unhealthy behavior. Accidental multi-collab stream. Well, I guess we'll raid Spicy. For those who are on Twitch, Spicy is a very cute cryptid cat. My brain is super toast. I'm so sorry. She's very cute. The joke here is that she does not like being told that she is cute, but she lost a bet, so she's cute for 1 year. There we go. Spicy is coming up on... Spicy's coming up on 16 hours. I'm almost not sure if I should be rating her because it feels like enabling this. I'm kind of worried for her. But Spicy also just, like, has really inconsistent stream schedules, so she'll just pop in and stream for 16 hours one day and then vanish into the ether. But yeah, alright. Raid is getting set up. Thank you, everyone. I am out for now. Please have a good evening. And I will see you all later. Goodbye for now.